gosh, I always forget. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, for example, this is a pie. Okay, pie. This is a profit of the company. Okay, so if this profit comes, then where this profit is going to be distributed, it is determined by from where you have taken money, isn't it? Anyone who has invested inside the company will need a part of this profit. Now if you break this, one part is for owners, one part is for creditors. Okay, so it is the profit is divided, it is divided among the person who have given money to company. For example, one pie is for shareholders, the owners of the company who have um, invested equity who has been into company as an owner, and the other pie is for creditors. For example, yesterday again I gave you an example. Maybe your parents, if you are going to open your company, maybe your parents, maybe your friends who trust you, maybe your uncle from Australia, or maybe any financial institutions, anyone who is going to tell you that please give me 10% of interest every year, and this 10% is going to be given to them, given to the creditors. So second question of finance which we have to solve is, where will you get the long-term financing to pay for your investments? Okay, these are two very important questions. Now the final one. Any confusion in this?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Next one is, how will you manage your everyday financial activities such as collecting from customers and paying suppliers? Okay, in short, how will you manage your everyday financial activities? Okay, yesterday again, going back to yesterday's example, since I already told you that yesterday I gave you a lot of example, I gave one example of Dunga restaurant or something. I think
Yes.
yeah, Dunga. Yesterday, I gave you example of Dunga restaurant. In that restaurant, we went through what are the financing requirements of that restaurant in day-to-day or weekly or 6 monthly or quarterly or annual working capital requirement. Okay, that is called short-term finance. Money which is required to the company for 1 year or less, 6 months or less, week or less, one day or less. These short-term money are called working capital, the money which is required for a company to run its day-to-day operations. So this third question will answer you, how will you manage your everyday financial activities? Okay, it's called everyday. So please don't go to that word everyday literally. It might say every week, it might say every month, or every operating cycle. Okay, so I'll not go into a vast concept of operating cycle or firm's cycle, but rather let's take 1 year, 12 months as threshold to separate long-term and short-term financing. Okay, so if we are going to take short-term finance, from where we are going to take, and from where we are going to take it. Now there might be a lot of problems if working capital management. It is also called working capital management. Okay, please you can take notes somewhere if you want, so that these terms will not skip. A lot of things will repeat. So it's called working capital management. And you see, for example, if you don't pay your workers salary, okay, in that Dunga restaurant, for example, the chef is not paid salary. Chef has his family and he has his own expenditures. Now as he's not paid salary, he's not enthusiastic to come to the restaurant and work. Now he calls your restaurant, for example your owner, and he calls the restaurant and tells that I'm not going to come today because you have not given me salary. Unless you'll not give me salary, I'm not going to resume the work. Now what happened was, the customers who are already inside Dunga restaurant, who are sitting in the table, now there is a high chance that there are interruptions in the restaurant. That means that food is not going to be delivered to them, or there will be compromise. Some assistant chef will make the food and the quality will not come out. These are interruptions. Now what prompted the interruption? You did not pay salary to your chef. And why didn't you pay the salary to the chef? your working capital management sucks. Okay, so day-to-day activities will not work if you cannot manage working capital properly. So the point is, there are other questions like, should we sell on credit, or what terms if so, to whom are we going to, from where we are going to take short-term financing, or how to obtain short-term financing. There are a lot of instruments in the market, all around wherever we see, but the ideal short-term financing which we are going to take, we are going to discuss that in learning outcome 7. So this is another question, very important question, which you must ask. Now I will repeat again. If tomorrow your parents ask you, what are you learning in finance, you can give these three questions, and all the questions will be solved. This will cover around 80 to 90% of whole course of finance. Question number 1, what long-term investment, you can please take note if you want. Number 1 is, what long-term investment should you take on? Number 1. Number 2, where will you get long-term financing to pay for your particular investment, that long-term investment? 2. 3, how will you manage your everyday financial activities? So if you answer these three questions, the end of the finance course. Okay, and what you might ask, what is the role of finance manager? We are learning this in learning outcome 1. There are 3 chapters. One is introduction to corporate finance, second is financial statement, taxes and cash flow, third is working with financial statements. So we are delving into introduction to corporate finance, and number 1 we are going through this. Number 1, corporate finance and finance manager. Okay, so finance manager, what is the role of finance manager? Anyone please answer. Students, please answer the question. What might be the role of finance manager?
To make financial reports, help in direct investment.
Yes.
Yeah. Any
Thank you, Archana. Anyone else? Please chip in more ideas. There is no, it's not necessary for you to be right. Please try, at least try.
Manage assets and liabilities. Is it
I do not get you.
manage?
Asset and liability,
Yes,
manage.
sir.
Yeah, perfect. Was it Smith or was it? It was Sarisma, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Sarisma. Anyone else? What is the role of finance manager? If you are appointed finance manager, so what might be your role? What is the expectation of management?
To give idea to manage the spare cash of company.
Raising
Yeah,
fund.
yeah, wonderful answer. To manage that spare fund. That is very important point. Another point I got from Sarisma was to raise funds. That's very important, right? So yeah, more or less you have got the point. But one, if you have to summarize all the functions of finance manager, and if you have to boil it down to one little questions, the role of finance manager is to increase value of shares of the company. You can write it down as well, because it's very important. You will go back to and fro to and forth to all the courses of finance, and you will come back and you will come to that point again. Has the value of shares of company increased or not? If it is increased, the rule is well done. If the value is not increased, the rule is not done properly. Okay, so the major role now to increase that value, like you guys answered the question, right? Bringing in finance, now using that spare cash, everything is done to increase the value of shares. So with that point, I am going to take attendance. So I'll call your name, please. Please mention if you are present, present. If you are absent, then yeah, of course we'll know. So, okay. Student attendance, section B. Today is 20th, right? 20 May. Summit attendance. Okay. Alex Bister.
Present, sir.
Okay, wait, I think this mobile is not working. You see, there are always technical issues with this technology. We have to be friendly with it. We have to adapt. Okay, student
That's why
attendance
I said
findings.
we should start our attendance at 7:15. Sometimes
Yeah,
we
from
have
tomorrow,
tech-
not 15. Was that? Was it Smith?
Smith.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Smith. From tomorrow, we are planning to do it at 7:05.
But sometimes we have technical issue joining the session.
So you can join. You can join in 6:55 then, or 6:50, and you can mute and sit down. You can do
Okay,
that from
if we
comfort
wake up
of your
fast.
mobile. Yeah, 15 will be proper. May 20th. Okay. Okay, now let's start. Alex done. Archana Banjara,
Present, sir.
Ashish Parajuli,
Yes, sir.
Dipesh Tulal,
Yes, sir.
Evan Shrestha, Evan Shrestha. Do we have Evan?
Yes, sir. Presented, sir.
Okay.
उसको नेट अलि डिस्टर्ब
Sorry,
भइरहेछ।
sir.
Yeah, okay. Next is Jeju Rai,
Yes, sir.
Marina Shrestha, Marina,
Yes, sir.
Marina Shrestha.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ninju Thapa,
Yes, sir.
Nishan Shrestha, is Nishan is there or not? I don't think he's there. So Ojasvi Saha,
Present, sir.
Prakriti Banjara, Prakriti Banjari,
Present, sir.
Prasamsa Silwal,
Yes, sir.
Praveen Khatri, yeah, okay. Raman Shrestha,
Yes, sir.
okay, now today you are audible. Ratna Prabha Tamang,
Present, sir.
Revisan Maharjan, Revisan Maharjan, Revisan is there. Revisan, can you please unmute your audio and say present, or you can even type in chat. Okay, so next, Ritish
Yakshat
Kumar.
was talking before. I think he has some issues.
Okay, revision.
Present, sir.
Ritish Kumar.
Present, sir.
Okay, okay. Rivas Prasad Jonche,
Yes, sir.
Ronim Rana Magar, Okay, Saksham Shrestha. We might not have Saksham, I guess. No. Salina Gising Tamal.
Present, sir.
Sarisma Silwal.
Yes, sir.
Shekhar Paudel. Did you guys hear something? I did not. Shekhar? Okay. Smith Sakya.
Yes, sir.
Swarup Dogoda.
Yes, sir.
Unes Giri.
Present, sir.
Today. Is it a full attendance? No. Nissan Shrestha is not
Sir,
there.
even I'm. Hello?
Okay, Revision. Yeah, good morning. Welcome.
Yeah,
And
my mic was on.
okay. So I think Nissan is not there, and the other one, Saksham is not there, right? If I'm correct. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So we have, I think, guys, from tomorrow, please join with your full name, please. Humble request. And since from tomorrow we'll be doing attendance at 7:10, then somebody was saying let's do at 7:15, and then gradually we'll move on to 7:05. Okay. Okay. Let's get back to the course then. Without further ado. Okay, so I was discussing the first part, corporate finance and finance manager. Now, I was telling you that the main goal of finance manager is to increase value of shares. Okay, so that is the main goal of uh, finance manager. Now, there are few roles which which is related with finance. You might know that there is one role called CFO, Chief Finance Officer. For example, CFO of the Raji, Jasi Saji, and another one, another role is Vice President of Finance. Since CFO is famous in UK, India, Nepal, that role is famous. But Vice President of Finance, these kind of roles are famous in US and outside countries as well. So there are Vice President of Finance as well. Another role is Treasurer. You can find a treasurer of clubs or a lot of institutions as well, and also government institution as well. You can find a treasurer, the role of treasurer. There is another one role which is of controller, that is also a part of job description of finance manager. So these are a few roles of finance manager. So any confusion in this number one, corporate finance and finance manager, anything we discussed?
No, sir.
Okay, so let's move on. Forms of business organization. So do you know what are the forms of business organization today? If you want to do any business now, what are the kinds of business you have seen? I expect answer from a lot of you. Please come on. What are the types of business organization? You might have seen these organizations all around you. You might have read financial reports. You might have seen hoarding boards on the street when you are riding your bike or scooty. Okay. So what are the forms of business organization? You might have studied in the first place. Yeah, partnership, sole proprietorship. Yeah, good start. One is partnership, second form is sole proprietorship, two is already done. Now one is left.
Corporation.
Joint venture.
Yeah, corporations. Perfect. Uh, there are basically three forms of business organization. The one is business organization. Okay. Okay. Partnerships. You can find these questions in slides as well. Okay. So then next one is sole proprietorship, partnership, and corporations. There are three kind of business model or business organization structure. That is the way you can do business. Now, yeah, excuse me, I did not get you, Ritish. Who was that, Ritish? Oh, Sekhar. What? I'm not listening to you, Sekhar. Can you please chat or please fix your audio?
He said, what about limited liabilities and resources?
Okay, yeah. Now you have gone into a little bit technical ones. Limited liability are covered in corporations. Okay, joint joint partnership, limited liability. These concepts are covered in corporations. The I'll get to limited liability as well, but to give you a direct answer, some of the companies like PricewaterhouseCoopers, right, big four firms, and KPMG, these kind of organizations, and companies of lawyers, they usually choose the model of limited liability partnership all around the world, and that is a basic concept. And I'll also tell you why they opt for limited liability, or what are the differences between sole proprietorship partnership. Let me share you a slide of this. Okay, so is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. So there are four. I have here are major three kinds are sole proprietorship, partnership, and corporations. LL limited liability company are inside corporations, I would say, but here it's distinctly written because there is difference between corporation and limited liability as well. Corporation is a general term, and it depends on from where it depends on perception of people as well. Like some of them consider corporations as the umbrella where there are limited liability partnership and unlimited liability partnership inside it, and some consider it as different as well. But let's move on to the differences. Number one, now what is sole proprietorship? Sole proprietorship means if sole means one, proprietary means the farmer or the person who opens. So sole proprietor means if one person, for example, if Alex wants to start a business, okay, and um, the best model which comes to Alex is sole proprietor. That means he wants to do business on his own. Okay, so that is sole proprietor. The next is partnership. If Archana and Ashish wants to go into a business and they wants to uh, do a venture in partnership, they can come together and perform that agreement, mutual agreement between each other. That are legal papers which must be signed between them, and they can go into partnership. And partnership, it is not limited to two-person; it can be three, four-person as well. So maybe Dipesh, even in Jeju can come together to do a business as a partner. Now, if you feel that you need you need to make it in large, right? And you want to take other kind of advantages, then you go towards company. Now, there are two kinds of company. One is private company, next is public company. If you want to categorize them, private company means one which is closely held between a certain number of people. Public company means the ones which are public. Okay, you might have heard a lot of companies do IPO, initial public offer. Okay, so that is one of the ways private company go into public, and a lot of other ways is in Nepal. More than if there are more than 50 shareholders, then the private company automatically changes into public company. And big corporate houses or big companies like these banks, insurance, legally they cannot be private company. They should be public company legally. And if there are government organizations, and they usually choose government corporations as well. Now you might ask, what is government corporations? Government corporations are ones which has holdings of government around 20%, 25%. For example, NTC, Nepal Telecom, it's not completely government, but there are holdings of government, and Sanchekos as well. So these are some of the examples of corporations and sole proprietorship. In terms of sole proprietorship, let us go through this first slide, and then I'll give you an example, live example of this all. Formation requirement and cost. In while opening sole proprietorship, there is written none regarding formation requirement and cost. Okay, but there is very minimal charge you must pay to government, very minimal charge, that is in thousands, 1000 or 500, 600 rupees, and you can start your sole proprietorship. You have to register in three different departments. The one is office of company registrar, or for company you have to go to office of company registrar. For sole proprietorship and partnership, you can go to the dedicated institution or organization. For example, if chartered accountant wants to open sole proprietorship, it has to go to its Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nepal. But for proprietor, they have to go to bar association. So that kind of they will give certificate of registration to them. The number one is you have to go to your concerned authority, right? For company, it is office of company registrar. Second, you have to register in income tax. You have to take your PAN number or VAT number, VAT or PAN, it is optional. For some business, VAT is compulsory. So second registration is you have to go to for a registration in tax department. Okay, second. Third is you have to go to that Sanghiyata, as they say, it's applied in country Nepal. Now there is statehood, right? So state government also asks its share of money. So whenever any kind of institution is registered, you also have to go to you also have to go to register that in local authority as well. Local authority means municipality, sub-municipality, VDC, but VDC is abolished right now. A lot of Nagarpalika and all, they have emerged. So you have to register compulsorily in Nagarpalika as well. So whatever the modality may be, Nagarpalika and tax office registration is compulsory. Now, seeing whether it is sole proprietor, partnership, limited liability company, or corporation, you have to go to your concerned department. For corporation, you have to go to office of company registrar. For partnership, you have to do mutual agreement and go in court, or court means not court. You have to, there is a registration of partnership for what business you are going to do partnership. If you are going for trading, you have to go to Department of Trade and Commerce. If you are going for other cottage kind of industry, you have to go to Department of Small and Cottage Industry. And if you are going to do big manufacturing, then you have to take permission from Department of Industries. So these kind of registrations are compulsory. So these are some of the insights on formation. Now regarding cost, sole proprietorship is the cheapest. It doesn't take a lot of money. It will take around, in Nepal at least, it will take around 500 to 1000 rupees minimal. Next is partnership. For partnership as well, the cost is very minimal. You don't need much amount of money to register it, right? Here it is written, relatively easy to establish. However, time must invested developing a partnership agreement. Yes, while you are going through partnership, the mother file means samvidhan or constitution of that partnership. That means that something which will guide you how the business is going to be done, or everything, how the money is going to be allocated, how the profit will be allocated, how you are going to do business, what are the areas you are going to do business in. So these kind of things all should be written in partnership agreement. That is the agreement which is between two persons. Now, let me take an example. For example, Prakriti and Prasamsa are going to get into partnership business. They are going to sell garments, ready-made garments. Now, what they are going to do is They're going to write in the partnership agreement that we are going to sell these agreement, and in bank account the check sign will be applicable. Will We both should sign in a check so that withdrawal will be made. We both have right to that. And while doing payments, one person is authorized for operation. Prakriti is authorized for marketing. Prasamsa is authorized. That kind of agreement should be done. And what it can be flexible. There is no any specific format of partnership agreement. There are guidelines, yes, there are guidelines, but circling around that guidelines, you can add more to partnership agreement. Okay, so you might ask, what kind of business go to partnership? Any kind of business. If you want to do simple business of hotel to garment to trading, every kind of business can go into partnership as well. There is no limitation to that. The forms you can change on your own to do any kind of business, but there are some certain restrictions and limitations as well, which I'll be mentioning later. The next is limited liability company. Now, this is very tricky kind of company. Limited liability company was established to make sure that um, the I would say clever person like lawyers, chartered accountants, and other professionals like engineers, doctors. These kind of professionals, they knew that if we are going to go through limited liability company, there will be lot. You will get best of both worlds. For example, you'll get tariffs or ease of doing business like sole proprietorship and partnership, while taking the benefit of corporation as well. Now, I'll state you what is the benefit of going towards corporation. How these big tycoons like Donald Trump never pay tax, and also Anil Ambani or these Dhirubhai Ambani, they never paid tax. And also they always choose to go through corporation. There is a reason why people go through corporation. I'll tell you later on after I complete this slide. Now there is must file with state, filing fee required. Okay, there is filing fee which is stated, and in terms of corporation, there are a lot of compliances. So there is a little bit of hassle while you register corporation, and there is a requirement of filing fee as well. If you go through the website, you will see how much capital you are going to introduce. Likewise, you have to pay the fee to government. It is called Rajaswa, okay, in Nepali, or it's called revenue expenditure, or the tax, the payment which you do in the starting times. I mentioned that the cost of company is levied if according to the capital which you are going to introduce. For example, in yesterday's example which I took of Mobile Star, if we have requirement of 100 lakhs dollar, and $10 lakh is going to be raised by honors, right? There were certain 10 honors. Now your capital will be 10 lakh. Okay, because there are 10 equity holders, and other fund you are going to accumulate from other sources, from creditors. Now that 10 lakh rupees, you have to go to revenue's website, and you have to see there how much is the amount of Rajaswa for that particular 10 lakhs to 10 lakhs capital. So according to capital, you are going to be charged the fee of corporation. If you want to go more, I'll say later on. I think I have said enough about this. About the personal liability in sole proprietorship, since I have my own firm, my firm is Harmonial in Associates, for example. Now, if on behalf of Harmonial in Associates, if that firm has liability to pay to customers for example, 5 lakhs rupees, okay, although that sole proprietorship will be dissolved, that 5 lakhs rupees is going to be paid by me or my sons or my daughters or my granddaughters or grandchildren. My point is that the liability never ceases. Okay, and I and my firm, they don't have corporate veil. Now, you might ask, what is corporate veil? Now, let us take an example like this to, okay. So this is an example. Now, this is me, okay? This is my firm. In between is one curtain, I would say. Corporate veil means curtain. If there is curtain in between, okay, that distinguishes between me, Rupak Mainali, and R. Mainali and Associates legally. If there is curtain, corporate veil, then it is not sole proprietorship, it is company. In company, there is one curtain in between, which distinguishes company is separate legal entity. It has its own identity legally, and individual partner has its own identity. Okay, so that is called corporate veil. In terms of sole proprietorship, there is no corporate veil. These both are same. Whatever it does here, it must pay from here, right? So in terms of liability, in terms of rights, obligations, anything, they are not distinguished. And sole proprietorship property is unlimited. Second, in partnership as well. I gave an example of business, garment business of Prakriti and Prasamsa. For example, that garment business owes around 50 lakhs rupees to for Redmond Cafe, not Redmond, I would say, but to supplier of garment from India, for example, and that supplier comes and sues their garment partnership business. For example, if that business name is um, fashion red fashion, for example, then that supplier is going to sue red fashion, okay, and if red fashion cannot pay money back, Prasamsa and Prakriti's personal property will be auctioned. Personal property has to pay back that money. And they will go into legal battle and all, but they will be liable. So that is called unlimited liability. So now going back, unlimited among partners, partner in case of partnership as well. Okay. Okay, the next one is limited liability company. In case of limited liability company, members are not typically held liable. Now, this is an advantage what limited liability company takes. Members are generally not held liable. That is benefit of corporation which it is taking. Limited liability corporation company. Okay. Now it's like there is the concept like big players always manipulates government. Now, I'll not state that openly in public, but limited liability company was also kind of influence which government did and gave benefit to certain kind of elite individuals, and they understood that if we go through limited liability company, there are a lot of benefits. So their liability are limited. That means that, so coming back, they are separate. There is curtain in between. Legally, if limited liability company, for example, one limited liability company is called Excellent Limited LLP, Excellent LLP, for example. So Excellent LLP owns 5 lakhs rupees to any person in the market. Now, if that person comes and asks money to the owner of Excellent, for example, the owner of Excellent is Praveen. If that owner comes and asks 5 lakhs rupees to Praveen, Praveen will never pay selling his land, or he will never pay from his personal property. He'll say that go and ask to LLP. I'm not going to pay money because LLP is different, I am different. There is corporate veil in between. That is another concept. And finally, shareholders. Shareholders are typically not liable. That is why people go for company. Now, if company is dissolved, there is corporate veil again. So I think the concept of corporate veil is clear to you because it's very important concept legally. A lot of us have confusion in this. I hope that this confusion is gone now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's move on to management. Sole proprietorship, full control, whatever a person says, it happens. Partnership, control between partners. Prakriti and Prasamsa has their say according to the investment they do. Third, a membership setup structure as they choose. Now there is a constitution which is made of a limited liability company and corporation, that is called memorandum of article and memorandum of association, MOA. You might read that in further details in legal chapter as well, legal chapter, yeah. So there is memorandum of association and article of association. Memorandum is the most important document of company, and limited liability company same. And article of association is also the very important document of company. So according to these two documents, it should be written how we are going to organize meeting, and every little detail should be written there. And as the details is written there, the company is going to be guided by these documents, not by individuals. Okay. So members set up structure as they choose. Now how they will choose? They will write their structure in memorandum and article of association. Not in memorandum, in article they write structure. Memorandum is for other important tasks. I'll not go into that. Please ask your lawyer teacher in legal subject, that he will go further in detail. Now in terms of management in corporations, shareholders elect directors who manage business activities. Now the owners are shareholders. In yesterday's example of Mobile Star, there were 10 owners, isn't it? And there was Noble Bank as well. So these 10 owners are going to appoint a CEO or manager of the business activities, or directors, right? There is board of director of every company. Okay, there is one chairman as well. So these directors have to be chosen by shareholders, and these directors choose CEOs and other further executive posts like finance manager and CFOs. Okay, so my point is that shareholder elect director, and directors manage business activities. So coming to termination, when proprietor ceases doing business or open death. If proprietor dies, the business is dead. And if a proprietor tells that, nah, I'm not going to do this business anymore, any further. For example, I'm so much interested in going to another kind of business. I want to close my CA firm, right? So I can do that. Next is partnership. Among two partners, Prakriti and Prasamsa, Prasamsa decided to go to US for foreign business affairs, and she wanted to do business abroad. So she told Prakriti that I'm not going to continue the business. So now it's end up. It may be end up on withdrawal or death of partner. If one of the partners cease to exist, then that also happens. But the point of difference in LLP and corporation is that they exist perpetually. They never dissolve unless the dissolution is filed by shareholders and they continue. But it is, in general terms, it is believed that company will exist perpetually. Now, if there are persons like Donald Trump, they will file bankruptcy of their company again and again, and they take money back, and they run away from things. But again, going back, now basically we assume that their existence is perpetual. And in terms of taxation in Nepal, for sole proprietorship, entity no taxable, it's written entity no taxable, but in terms of Nepal it's not true. For international avenues, entity is not taxable, and sole proprietor pays tax, right? Entity no taxable, partner pays tax. Okay, so it's kind of partially true as well. For example, I pay tax for my company. Okay, not company, I would say I'll pay tax for my firm. Okay, and partners pay tax for their entity as well. Prakriti is going to pay tax for their red garment industry. Okay, for that partnership. So or Prasamsa might pay. So that is, partners are going to pay for their business, and proprietor is going to pay because there is no corporate veil. But if there is corporate veil, then limited liability company and corporations. So entity level, in corporation and in entity level, corporation is going to pay tax, and that is completely separate. But in LL, limited liability company, the income passes through members. And you cannot add everyone to limited liability company. There are limited shareholders of LLP, limited liability company, and there are few individuals. For example, if there are five owners, then they are going to pay for this entity. So this is another example. Now, before starting this conversation, I also mentioned you that what is the major advantage of corporation, which has to distinguish or to simplify all this concept into simpler terms. Now, why do people choose to go for corporation, and why they choose to scale down and stay at sole proprietorship or partnership? Tomorrow, if you are going to start any business, okay, if you are going to start any business, or if you are going to work in any kind of business, these are the business which you are going to see. And if you are going to start any business, you might have to opt one option. Now, why would you choose sole proprietorship and partnership? In short, you want to go for sole proprietorship and partnership because there are less legal hassles, number one. Second, cost effective. Third, whatever you say, it happens. The control is with you. These are a few advantages of sole proprietorship. But if you want to do something big, if you want to scale up, then you go for corporation. For limited liability company, most of the companies like legal firms, the big MNCs, they adopt for limited liability company. Big MNCs in particular profession, in accounting, legal terms, they tend to go for limited liability company. And all other companies like Toyota or like big companies, whatever the name may be, Coca-Cola or every other companies, they go for corporation. Now, why they go for corporation? Number one, because it's very easy for corporation to raise funds. Okay, I repeat, for corporations, it is very easy to raise funds. If they need fund for new projects, it's very easy because the entry and exit of owners is very simple. These are the two examples. It's two advantages. One, it's very easy to raise fund. Second, the entry and exit of owners are those rules and regulations are really simple. Okay, so if there are 10 shareholders, they can add 5, they can reduce 2, and they can add more creditors if they want more money. So the advantage of corporation is that. So most of the and another advantage is corporate veil as well. Vijay Mallya ran away from India today, and if the case of Vijay Mallya, it was not proved that Vijay Mallya personally did fraud, and he misused his corporate funds to his personal grounds. If that was not stated, then Vijay Mallya would have been a free bird. But the case of fraud was lodged against him. So the corporate veil did not work. Okay. Otherwise, if there is protection to Vijay Mallya from his Kingfisher company, right? So he was doing all the illicit activities from likewise, if it doesn't come into the eye of lawmakers. So a lot of the companies like, do you know that Dhirubhai Ambani, what he did was he used to have a panel of tax planners, and these tax planners used to plan tax for these Mukesh Ambani's company. It's Reliance Corporation, and for Reliance Corporation, the father, Dhirubhai Ambani, who started the company, the film Guru is also made is based on his yeah, as his life story, and Dhirubhai Ambani has done so much for that company, means he has planned so much for that company. Today as well, Reliance doesn't pay corporate tax. Among his conglomerate business, he have accumulated so much loss, and those assets. Now today also, if they carry forward that losses, they are free from taxes. So these kind of plannings could be done from corporation. It can never be done from sole proprietorship and partnership. Now the person like Donald Trump, he files bankruptcy and gets away from that company, and all the money of creditors and all goes into legal battle, and it sinks, and then again he starts from zero. Now that is what Donald Trump also does. So many business organizations tend to tend to go for corporation. If you are a person who wants to start business, if it is small scale, I advise you to go to go for a sole proprietorship and partnership. But if you want to scale the business up, if you want to save taxes, then it is, of course, you have to go for corporations. Okay, regarding taxes, I'm going to discuss that on later on in another slides. So any confusion in this corporate structure?
No, sir.
Thank you, Nis. Okay, so let us get back to our slide. So we were here, right? I took a lot of, I took a little bit more, much time in this forms of business organization, because I think it's very important for you to start, and it's very important, that base which is needed. Okay, tomorrow, whichever the company you see around in the internet or somewhere, you might have questions like, um, what is the legal name of Facebook, or is it legal sole proprietorship of Mark Zuckerberg, or is it a company, or is it LLP? You might ask what kind of legal form the Amazon is of Jeff Bezos, right? So please be curious and search around. That will be very beneficial for your understanding later on. So the next is, yes, I mentioned the goal of financial management and financial manager is to maximize the current value per share of existing stock. Okay. Next is the agency problem and control of corporation. Now, one classic case I would like to ask you. Okay, I would like involvement of each one of you, or not each one of you, few of you. Please answer this question. It's very interesting as well. It must be thought provoking for you as well. Now, Steve Jobs was founder of Apple, right? Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Right, but he was fired. So, do you know that, or do you know the answer to that mystery, why Steve Jobs are fired, or how was he fired? He was a founder, right? But he was fired. He was thrown off his company.
Because he did not have control of the company.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm getting answers like board of directors, right? He did not have control over the company. Both answer is right, but please give me specific answer. Yeah, this is also somewhat right. And any further guesses? Anyone? Come on. Okay, so let us through the answer. So Steve Jobs did not have stake in Apple when he was fired. He did not have a bigger stake which can influence the control. As one of our students mentioned that control, right? So yeah, that is the right answer. There was no control. No control means he did not had a lot of shares of Apple. And if he had a lot of shares of Apple, there would have been chance that he would have been into the management and he would have influenced other things as well. What is learning from that firing of Steve Jobs is that shareholders are the owners of the company. If CEO or board of directors, or um, anyone in the company doesn't have right stronger than shareholders. Okay, that is why Binod Chaudhary has. There is a rumor that Binod Chaudhary has a stake of more than 40 to 45% shares in Nobel. So he has that control. So more shares you have, more control you have against the business. So you might observe capital structure of big businesses like Reliance. Founder usually keep around 51% stake or 45% stake, so that they can influence the board of directors. 51 means it is the stake which is required for ordinary resolution in any resolutions which happens inside the board. So these owners of the business, they usually keep 51% stake inside the business. Steve Jobs did not have that much, so he was fired. And why? Because he was management, he was not a stakeholder. He was CEO of Apple, he was not shareholder. He was shareholder as well, but his stake was not as strong as other stakeholders. Okay. So in large organization, management may act or may not act necessarily in the interest of stakeholder. So that is called agency problem. The point is that shareholder wants to maximize the value of shares, but management, they want to show better performance. They might show wonderful profit and loss account statement of and balance it, right? They want to increase their performance, so their better results will be seen, and that will boost their career. So management might act against the principle of against the interest of shareholder, right? Any decision management might take might inflate the profit, but might not be advantageous for shareholders shares value. Let me give you an example. There is a project which is going to which came to the management. For example, management of Walmart were about to open one branch. Okay, open one branch in Nepal, I would say, for example. So they needed a lot of investment there. So management realized that if we open the branch in Nepal, it might take 2 or 3 years for that branch to come into break-even point. Okay, it will incur a lot of losses, and that loss will be reflected in our balance sheet. Our profit will be down. If the profit will be down, people, shareholders are going, or other people are going to ask questions against our performance. They will not see that, because shareholders usually are not as learned as management, right? So management play these kind of games. That is called agency problem. The interest of management and interest of stakeholder might not be same. So lot of issues all around the world has happened because of this agency problem. Usually management are selected by shareholder usually selects board of director, and board of director usually selects other executives of company like CEO, CFO, and other executives who run company, who run day-to-day functioning of the company. Because shareholder Binod Chaudhary is not going to go in Nobel Bank and say that increase your interest rate now. He's not going to say that. But what he will say is that let's have CEO as Anil Kesari Shah. He might say that because he has that stake. He might be chairman of Nobel. I don't know, but inside the board of directors, he has bigger influence. So Anil Kesari Shah, he goes into Nobel and he manages day-to-day operations, long-term. He proposes long-term investment to board of directors, and major decisions are taken inside board. But major decisions, day-to-day operations, and all are taken by management. Okay, so these are other few questions which are solved. Now, how closely? There are two questions which we must ask. One is how closely are management goals aligned with stakeholders' goal? Okay. Buy stock at low price. In 2010, Google gave 20,000 employees owned 11.5 million shares in the company. Why? Because if you give shares to employees, there is a high chance employee will work for the organization. That is why sweat equity share, concept of sweat equity share was developed, so that employees, management, the employee who has already worked for 10 years, these kind of experienced employees will be retained by the company. Number one. Second, it will encourage them to work for the company. For example, an employee at 10 o'clock goes to the organization of Apple. He goes to Apple and now he thinks that this is my company. If I work late hours, I'm going to benefit for the organization. My share value is going to increase. That is one way how the agency problem is dialed down. Second is, can management be replaced if they do not pursue stockholder goals? Now, management never should be invincible. But if management does well, are there promotion strategies or not? So second way to address this issue of agency is promotions. Now, and there is a data that the best paid executive in 2010 was Stephen Hemsley, CEO of United Health Group, and he made whooping 120 million as per Forbes magazine. Okay, so that amount of money was given to that executive because he worked in favor of company. There is a huge return if manager works for in the behalf of company. And please note that if one manager, right, I'm constantly taking example of Anil Kesari Saha. If the performance of Anil Kesari Saha is wonderful in Nobel Bank, there is a high chance he is going to be hired by Mega Bank. And again, there is a high chance that Nobel Bank is going to bring him back, right? So for the goodwill of manager as well, if promotion happens, if shareholder pays a lot of amount to executives, and that is good for management as well, and that also eradicates agency problems. So let us swiftly move on. So the next is financial markets and corporation. Okay, so you might have listened to nowadays NIPSEs are all-time high financial markets. You might have listened to Wall Street. You might have watched that movie Wolf of Wall Street, right? That is also based on financial markets and brokerage and all. Wall Street, right? So what is financial markets? What are financial markets and what are corporations? So if these are your primary questions, now there are financial markets all around the world are the places where the financial instruments are traded, the place where funds are generated, place where the funds are distributed. That is called financial markets, and the place where debt and equity securities are bought and sold. For example, Vatini is the place where we go to buy groceries in the lower floor, and we go upstairs in first story. There we find garments, and it depends on outlet of art botany as well. So likewise, there are different kind of like that floor of art botany, there are different kind of financial markets where we can in some financial market we can buy and sell equity securities like groceries. We can buy debt securities like garments. So there are different markets where different things are traded. So financial market are these. There are two kind of market. One is primary market, another is secondary market. Primary market means if the originator of debt and equity, that means company, government, or anyone who is the originator of debt and equity securities sell debt and equity directly to investor. That is primary market deal. Secondary market deal is that when the person who holds that primary markets debt and security or debt and equity securities and takes that and sells to other buyer. For example, there was an IPO of CBTV hydropower, right, recently. And let's take an example of Ruru hydropower company. So recently you might have applied for IPO as well. So Ruru hydropower issued a lot of equity shares. Why did it do that? To raise its capital, right? Because Ruru hydropower, they needed funds. So they issued equity in the market. Now we, investor, we applied for 10 shares, right? Many of Nepalese did. That is now primary market deal, initial public offer, because Ruru means company which created that equity, and we, investor, we are dealing with each other, and that happens in primary market. Lot of other cases are RBI issues bond securities, debt instruments, and lot of other instruments as well. A lot of times, not only RBI, banks also do that. They issue debentures, they issue debt instruments like NIC Asia 8182 fund. They say that we are going to give you debt instrument and we are going to give you fixed interest of around 8%, 10%, right? So these kind of all dealings which are directly related between the company which are originator and the company or the investors. It might be individual as well, it might be corporation as well, right? The investor might be corporations as well. So that is called primary market. Now secondary market, I got 10 shares of Ruru hydropower, right? Now I want my money back, or I want to sell those shares. I don't want to be owner of that company. I am owner of that company in the first place. You might not get this concept, but if you have shares, you are owner of that company. But in micro fractions, you have to divide your shares. 10 divide by total number of shares of Ruru Financials into 100. If you do that, that percentage of Ruru Hydropower belongs to you. Okay, you do that. If you have any shares of IPO, how much shares you own, you might get that feeling while you go to inside the banks. Okay, feeling of honor, but you have ownership, but you might not have influential ownership like Binod Chaudhary do. Binod Chaudhary does. So coming back to the point, now I want to sell those shares which I got from primary market. Okay, I want to sell that. Now what shall I do? I have to go to secondary market. Okay, and I'll find other investors like maybe Marina, maybe Ujasvi, maybe Ratna, maybe Revision. I will sell those shares to them. Now, why would I sell? I need money. Why would they buy? They feel that their money is going to be increased. Tomorrow, the shares are going to, as the value of the shares are going to increase. They might analyze that and they are going to buy my shares. Now, that dealing is called secondary market dealing, and that is dealer market. Okay. NEPSE is one example of secondary market. New York Stock Exchange is another example of secondary market. Okay. So these are primary and secondary market. And finally, OTC market, over the counter market. It is also called over the counter market. Now, over the counter market, I'll give you an example. You have a car, you want to sell that car. Can you sell your car directly to people around? Nowadays, you can do through hamrobazaar.com and all, right? But primarily, the concept of OTC market is that you need a dealer. Hamro Bazaar is the broker in between. Without Hamro Bazaar, you cannot sell that car. But sometimes you can do to your friend. But let's not take that an exception. But many dealings of car, right? And this kind of dealing is done through broker. And the securities and bonds are also sometimes dealt through OTC market. OTC market means place where the broker are really important. Without them, the deals are not done. Okay, real estate are also another example where usually broker are needed as a trust holder, as the person who holds the trust in between. So OTC market is the place where it's usually famous in terms of real estate and car dealings, but to bring into financial terms, it might deal in shares and securities as well. But the primary, there is one broker in between. In secondary market, there is also a broker, but influence of broker is not heavy. Okay, you cannot deal through secondary market on your own. For example, that 10 shares of Ruru Financial, I want to sell that to Dipesh, then I cannot directly sell to Dipesh. Likewise, like I cannot give him shares and he cannot give me money. We cannot do that dealing without broker in between. But the influence of broker is not effective. The influence is really low in these terms. I think financial markets are clear to you, and the objective of financial market is to raise funds or dump the securities. Okay, the primary advantage of financial market is it makes that equity and securities liquid, right? Corporations shares are one of the primary advantage of corporation I mentioned to you is that its shares are highly convertible or highly sellable or liquid, the financial market does exactly that. Financial market liquidifies debt and equity securities. Okay. And any owner of any company can sell their shares in financial markets and also debt instruments. Are there any queries yet? Is it clear? Okay. Shekhar asks one question. Sir, corporations are unlimited liability company. No, corporations are not unlimited liability company. Corporations are also limited liability company because shareholders are not held liable. There is corporate veil in between. Okay. So if there is something owned by company to someone else, then shareholders are not going to pay for that through their personal money. They are not going to pay. So corporations are also limited liability company. Unlimited liability means it comes back, comes down to the owners, right? Owner has to sell their shares, means unlimited. Limited means it's limited to that corporation or company only. So is it clear, Shekhar? So we come to an end of chapter 1. Chapter 1 of learning outcome 1. Okay, so corporate finance and the finance manager, we discussed about, I'll summarize a little bit and please ask any question you have. Corporate finance and finance manager, I told you the best, the most important objective of finance manager is to increase the value of shares. Second, forms of organization. Yes, we discussed this in depth about forms of business organization, sole proprietorship, partnership, limited liability corporations and corporations. Third, goal of financial management. Yes, the goal is to increase the value of shares as of finance manager. Fourth, agency problem. Steve Jobs was fired. You can remember from there. From that, management and shareholder might not have similar goal. That is why management might do something which will not increase the value of shares of shareholders. Right. So to decrease that, to decrease this agency problem, usually promotions are done. So equity shares and equity shares are given to their management people. Google did that, and lot of big companies do that. Even Tata and a lot of Cisco, these companies also have practiced that. Even recently, I heard that Sosto Deal also gave sweat equity share to its shareholders, and Iseva is also planning to give. Financial markets and the corporation. Financial market, it is the place where we raise the money. Equity and debt instruments are sold. It is the place where these things are made liquid. It's bad botany of debt and instrument, but the difference is that buy and sell happens between individuals. It's marketplace. Okay. So any confusion, guys? You must have one or two questions. If there is one concept, like if there are no confusions, means there might be two different conclusions. One is that everything is clear. Second is that nothing is clear.
Uh, I think this is very new to us, so it will take us some time to revise and come up with questions.
Yeah, okay, Archana. Of course, you can ask question in other lectures as well. But please, guys, please don't limit yourself to just these. Please ask interesting questions like how much. Now the divorce is going to happen between Bill Gates and Melinda Gates, right? And Melinda Gates is going to get $5 billion. From where Bill Gates is going to give that $5 billion? Ask those questions. Which are the companies? What kind of company is Microsoft formed under? And what are other companies which Bill Gates and Melinda Gates have established? They have one other, I think Gates Foundation, Melinda Gates Foundation is also a prominent company which also does a lot of humanitarian work all around the world. They are enthusiastic about developing the vaccine. So you please ask these kind of questions so that you will more be interested in finance. How much stakeholder does, how much shares does Jeff Bezos hold in Amazon so that he became number one, right? And Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos were doing up and down in terms of their number one list. in terms of number one list. So what made that happen, right? That is exclusively because of shares value. So go and look how much share does Jeff Bezos hold in Amazon, uh, or Elon Musk holds in Tesla. So these are the things which you must understand. And one thing to clarify is that Jeff Bezos, although he's the richest man in the world, he cannot take that all money out and he cannot spend and do that. He will never do that because the company will close down if he wants to take all the money out and be like, yeah, I'm the richest person in the world. And I have a lot of money now. I don't want to run Amazon. He cannot encash that all the money out. Okay, if somebody knows that Jeff Bezos is going to sell the 20-30% of stake from Amazon, they might think that something wrong is going to happen there, so let's not buy the shares of Jeff Bezos. So liquidity also matters. So these are very interesting concepts. You guys must please brainstorm sometimes so that these concepts will be more familiar to you. Okay, let me, before ending this session, our second chapter is financial statement, taxation, cash flow. Let me share you one balance sheet. Okay, let me quickly show you. I'll go in detail tomorrow. Okay, but before ending the class, I'd like to show you. This is a pro forma balance sheet. How many of you are familiar with balance sheet? Have you seen this somewhere, sometime, anywhere?
Yes, we have done it.
Where?
Of course, from 12, if we have done
Yeah.
management.
Yeah, I guess in 12 you guys have prepared these balance sheets, although there was not dollar was not there maybe, but you have prepared. Okay, so this is balance sheet. Okay, and it is very simple for you to read balance sheet. It's kind of like when you read books, right? So, for example, this is a book, okay, and I'm going to read this book like as their asset grow, how do they measure the extent of their success? Like this, I'm reading the book. Now, as you'll be familiar with the balance sheet, you'll start to read the balance sheet, not like their current assets are on the left side, current liability are on the right side, and assets are down and all. It frames in your mind like bicycle, and you'll start to read the balance sheet. You'll start to understand a lot of things, and you'll start to analyze as you'll move on, and you'll see a lot of balance sheets. Okay, as you'll be wonderfully in finance, then you'll start to do that. So let me take you to this balance sheet first. There are two things in balance sheet. One, source of fund, and second, application of fund. Okay, so source means you know what the source is, from where the money has come. Okay, application means from where the money has gone, as simple as that. Okay, so towards liability side and owner's equity, it is from where the money has come. Okay, debt and equity. Money will either come from those 5 shareholders yesterday, which I mentioned. They were about to raise $1 lakh. Okay, owners of the company, whether they will bring the money, that is called equity, or you will approach Nobel Bank, that is called debt. Equity and debt, done, as simple as that. From where money is going to come? From the owners, from the banks. From the owners means from the shareholders, that is called capital or equity, or from the banks, those are called creditors. Now let's move on to asset side. Asset side means application of fund. Okay, we have got the money from owners, we have got the money from banks. Now what did we do with that fund? That are assets. Okay, application of funds. Where did we invest? Let us take an example. In this example of US corporation, there are details of 2011 and 2012 balance sheets. In 2012, okay, long-term debt, you might see long-term debt down, right? can I think here is long-term debt. Okay, these dates are usually given by banks. So bank gave this much money inside the company. Now these are equities. These are the owners of the company. Okay, from where the money came? From the owners, this much. Okay, from the banks, this much. And these are day-to-day operations of company. These are working capitals. Okay, these are also the places from where the funds are generated, or you working capital. These are called working capitals, the day-to-day operations of business. Okay, these are short-term funds. So what are applications? You might ask, what are the applications? Now, out of those fund, out of this 3112, okay, in 2012, we have $160 in cash. Out of that total bundle, we have 160 in cash. 688 rupees is in the market. We have to receive from our customers. 555 worth of inventory, worth of stocks we have kept, right? We have kept in our stock, right? So these are application of fund. Done, as simple as that. Balance sheet is this. And these are plant and equipment. We have invested 17.9 in plant and equipment. So from where fund has come and from where we have invested. Source and application. Balance sheet is done. Now, okay, I think we have exceeded 8:33, exceeded the time. So let me quickly go through income statement as well. Income statement is called period statement as well, because it is the statement of one period only. Okay, balance sheet is a statement of till date. Balance means till date, from the starting of the company to as on date. Okay, income statement means of this particular period, of one period. We had sales of 1509. For generating that 1509, we had to pay 750 as a direct cost, the cost of goods cost. For example, this mobile, we sold 1509 worth of mobile. Cost of goods sold 750. We invested in aluminum and all the raw materials of cost of preparing this mobile, also labor charge and cost and land. Depreciation, this much of depreciation we had to go through from equipment. And if we go through, our income is 412. Okay, out of 412, we paid 103 to equity holders, and 309 we transfer to balance sheet, so that we will invest that in our business. So to conclude, okay, this 309 is going to come towards the balance sheet. Okay, 309 rupees in total earnings, retained earnings. Now here, that 309 is carried down here. Okay, so I'll not go. If you did not understand much, then it's fine, because we are going to go in coming class in depth. Please understand that we start balance sheet from profit and loss account, because the figure of profit and loss account is going to come in balance sheet, right? So, and we'll end at balance sheet, and then we can prepare cash flow later on. So start with profit and loss account, and then we go to balance sheet, and then we move on to cash flow. I have shared with you one practical balance sheet, and please go through that and start with profit and loss account, go to its balance sheet, and there are a lot of statements. I shared that in I Learn, you might find there, and that is your homework. Your homework is, your assignment is that please go through that practical balance sheet. That is the balance sheet of my client, and that is how the real balance sheet is prepared, how real balance sheet seems, and what is the working behind. If you have any confusion, then you can always ask me in next class. We'll discuss about that balance sheet as well in coming class. Okay, so I think we have come to an end of this class. Thank you so much everyone for your undivided attention. 1 minute for queries. Anyone, you want to say anything?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your time and attention. So we'll be having another class in coming Wednesday. Okay, so please go through that balance sheet and revise these slides. Okay, that is your assignment.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Have
Okay,
a nice
thank you. Bye
day.
bye.
Bye, sir.
Good morning, class.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Good morning. So, welcome everyone to the classes of Management Accounting. So, how many have you been present? 22. Let's wait for a couple of minutes more. Till then, we can have conversation as well. So, this is my, I think, new section, right? Section B. I've already taught 2 classes to section A, and this is my first class to section B. And my name is Meera Pokhrel, and I'm your tutor to the subject Management Accounting. And let me introduce myself first. I'm a chartered accountant by profession, and I've been associated with S International for past almost 3 years. And during the day, I work at Rashtriya Aviskar Kendra. I'm a CEO over there. And to begin with management accounting, we will be having 30 lectures, and we'll be having first, second, and final assessment. And your attendance is also equally important, because your attendance will also be taken care of. Certain weightage will be given while your assessment are being marked. And I request everyone to maintain a diary or a copy. एउटा कपी चाहिँ मेन्टेन गरिराख्दा बेस्ट हुन्छ, because management accounting is not only about the theory, it's more about the practical approach, and we will be doing more questions. And then the concept and questionsहरूलाई note down गरेर क्लासमै गर्न सक्यो भने, त्यो मेन्टेन भयो भने, it would be very useful for future reference. पछि फेरि त्यो रेकर्डिङमा गएर खोजिराख्नु पर्ने झन्झट हुँदैन. So you start or plan from the beginning itself, right? Beginning देखि नै you try to maintain a separate copy for each subject, and अनि management accounting को लागि छुट्टै चाहिँ हुनै पर्यो. And then you write the important concepts over there, do the calculations and all the numericals on that copy, है. त्यो copy चाहिँ maintain गरिराख everyone. And management accounting भन्ने it's a very new topic, it's a very dynamic topic, it's a very evolving topic, हैन. यो हरेक दिन चेन्ज भइरहने, नयाँ नयाँ आइडियाजहरू आइराख्ने खालको चाहिँ सब्जेक्ट हो म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ. इट्स अ भेरी न्यू एन्ड इट्स भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट इन द प्रेजेन्ट डेट, बिकज आजको डेट भनेर चाहिँ एज अफ एन्टरप्रेन्योरसिप, इट्स एज अफ ग्लोबलाइजेसन, हैन. यो एजमा चाहिँ you have to be able to run your business on your own. अनि त्यो बिजनेस आफूले रन गर्नलाई चाहिँ ट्रेडिसनल अप्रोच मात्रै काफी छैन. द ट्रेडिसनल वेज अफ डुइङ थिङ्स, द ट्रेडिसनल वेज अफ अकाउन्टिङ इज नट इनफ. सो यो म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङको कन्सेप्ट चाहिँ आएको टु मेक यु अ गुड म्यानेजर, टु मेक यु अ गुड बिजनेसम्यान, टु मेक यु अ गुड ओनर अफ द कम्पनी, है. यो हो. सो अहिलेसम्म कतिजना प्रेजेन्ट भयो? 23. I'm looking forward to have a wonderful session with you all. Last year, say we went online classes, and online classes सुरु भएको last year हो. First wave of coronavirus आएदेखि, and then the first semester, त्यो semester, एउटा semester, and then एउटा semester को आधासम्म we did it online, and then पछि चाहिँ पहिला physical and online both combined भएर भएको थियो. And I was very much looking forward to have physical classes. The situations they सोचेको जस्तो भइदिएन. It turned out to be worse. We are into the second phase of COVID-19, and I don't much prefer virtual classes, but we have no choice. So with your coordination, with your effort from your side and my effort from my side, I hope we will have a very good session throughout. Let's hope the COVID-19 second wave ends soon and we would be able to resume a physical classes. But I don't see any hope for at least a month, at least couple of months. So let's be mentally prepared and that we will be effectively doing our sessions online. If you have any, please maintain note or a copy as I told you earlier. If you have any queries, please let me know at the end of the class. Let's take it in a very good way, very warm way, and a very interactive way. I don't think much interaction is possible, but however, let's try from our side to make the best out of it.
Sure, ma'am.
So yeah, thank you, Archana. And we already 10 minutes past the start time. It's 8:55. Now let me take the attendance. And regarding the attendance, I'll be taking attendance at just 5 minutes after the class begins at 8:50 to 8:55. And then I won't submit that attendance, and at the mid of the class I'll see whether all students are present or not, and then I will be sending the attendance. And once I send the attendance, I won't be able to edit it, so please stop, don't message me, like this delay. If you are late and that's not in my hand, my attendance submit गरिसक्यो भने I don't have any access to edit it. You have to talk to the management. So make sure you join the classes within 5 minutes of starting of our classes. And now let me begin with attendance. So let me open the link first. Attendance for the course Management Accounting, Thursday 20 May, section B. So Alex,
Present, ma'am.
Archana,
Present, ma'am.
Asais,
Yes, ma'am.
Deepesh,
Yes, ma'am.
Even or Ivan, how do you pronounce it? Even?
Even.
Even, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Even is also present. Jeju, Jeju, I can see you present. I don't think your mic is working, right? Marina,
Yes, ma'am.
Ninju,
Yes, ma'am.
Nissan, Nissan, yes. Okay, Nissan, your attendance is marked. Ojasvi,
Present, ma'am.
Prakriti, Prakriti,
Present,
Prakriti is
ma'am.
Prasamsa,
Yes, ma'am.
Praveen,
Present, ma'am.
Praveen, okay. Raman, Raman,
Yes, ma'am.
Ratnaprava,
Present, ma'am.
Revisan,
Present, ma'am.
Ritiz,
Present, ma'am.
Rivers, Rivers, I can see you present. Ronim, yes ma'am, okay. Saksham, no, Saksham is absent. Saksham, is absent. Yes. Mm, 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 mm. And Salina,
Present, ma'am.
Sarisma,
Yes, ma'am.
Sekhar,
Present, ma'am.
Smith,
Yes, ma'am.
Swaroop,
Yes, ma'am.
Eunice.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So as option one, Saksham Srestha. Mm, Saksham Srestha is absent. So let me share slides with you first. Ronim, your attendance has been marked already. And who has raised their hand? Yes, Praveen, your hand has been raised. Here's a question, Praveen. Praveen, is there anything you have to say? If not, I'm
No, ma'am.
starting.
No, ma'am. You can proceed.
Okay, thank you. So this is our subject, management accounting. Introduction to management accounting. We will be briefly discussing about how management accounting is and how its practices are being used in the daily life of the managers. Management accounting is basically for the internal managers or for the management team so that they take the right decisions on behalf of the organization. So this is our course structure, how it is divided. Introduction to management accounting. The concept part we will do in 2 lectures, and then we come to product costing, costing of material, costing of labor, costing of overheads. That we'll be doing in 11 lectures, and we come to break-even analysis, right? At what level we tend to achieve our break-even point. Break-even point is that kind of that point or that level of sales where there is no profit or no loss situation, right? कुनै पनि बिजनेस सुरु गर्दाखेरि सुरुमै फर्स्ट इयरदेखि नै इयर 1 इयर 0 देखि नै हामीले प्रफिट अर्न हुन्छ भन्ने ग्यारेन्टी हुँदैन है फर्स्ट 2-3 years or first number of years चाहिँ हामी लसमा गइरहेको हुन्छौँ and then there comes a situation, there comes a time हैन जब चाहिँ we are at a point where there is no profit or no loss. हामीले चाहिँ लसलाई ओभरकम गरेर प्रफिट पनि बनाइ नसकेको सिचुएसनमा आउँछौँ द्याटमा चाहिँ त्यो पोजिसनलाई चाहिँ के भन्छौँ हामी ब्रेक इभन पोइन्ट हैन the break even point लाई हामीले क्रस गर्यो भने चाहिँ के हुन्छ then we reach into the profit वाला zone है we tend to earn profit. So break even analysis also is a part of management accounting. Break even analysis मा चाहिँ हामी के गर्छौं कुन लेभल इन विच लेभल अफ सेल्स होइन कति सेल्स गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ वी टेन्ड टु अचिभ अ ब्रेक इभन पोइन्ट कति सेल्स गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ हामी प्रफिट अर्न गर्छौँ कति इयर्ससम्म चाहिँ हामी लसमा हुन्छौँ यो सबै एनालाइसिस वी डु फ्रम ब्रेक इभन एनालाइसिस अनि अर्को अब्जर्प्सन एन्ड भेरिएबल कस्टिङ अनि कस्टिङ गर्ने भेरियस अप्रोचेस हुन्छ absorption costing हुन्छ variable costing हुन्छ it's a technical terms which we will be learning in more details later budgetary costing कुनै पनि expenditures को budget बनाउने budget भने चाहिँ के भने चाहिँ it's a future allocation of certain sum into the future है जस्तो आज डेट कति 6 गते जस्तो भयो हैन अब 1 week जस्तोमा नेपाल गभर्नमेन्टको बजेट आउँदैछ है डेट 15 सम्म बजेट आइसक्छ एन्ड देन त्यो बजेट कहिले अप्लाई हुन्छ त अपकमिङ इयरको लागि जुन श्रावण 1 देखि सुरु हुने इयर चाहिँ श्रावण 1 देखि असाढ एन्डसम्म श्रावण 1 2078 देखि असाढ एन्ड 2079 सम्म जति पनि एक्सपेन्डिचर जति पनि हामीले अहिले बजेटमा चाहिँ के हुन्छ यो हेडमा हेल्थमा यति एक्सपेन्डिचर गर्छौँ हामी एजुकेसनमा यति रोड्समा यति इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर्समा यति हस्पिटल्सहरू बनाउनलाई यति अनि यति कन्स्ट्रक्सन्सहरू गर्नलाई पुल्सहरू बनाउनलाई यति ब्रिजेसहरू बनाउनलाई यति एजुकेसनको सेक्टरमा यति अनि साइन्सको सेक्टरमा यति टेक्नोलोजीको सेक्टरमा यति भनेर हामी के गर्छौँ कस्टलाई अलोकेट गर्छ है फर कमिङ इयरको लागि कस्ट अलोकेसन जुन हामीले गरिरहेको त्यसलाई चाहिँ के भन्छ बजेट भन्छ है सो कम्पनीमा पनि त्यही डिपेन्डिङ हाम्रो यो गएको वर्षमा कति एक्सपेन्डिचर भयो त्यही बेसिसमा चाहिँ हामीले फ्युचरमा कस्ट अलोकेट गर्छ यो हेडमा यति खर्च गर्ने यो हेडमा यति खर्च गर्ने भनेर प्लानिङ गर्छौँ है सो त्यो अलोकेसन अफ कस्टलाई अलोकेसन अफ कस्ट इन्टु द कमिङ इयर फ्युचरमा हुने कस्टलाई जति पनि हामीले प्रेडिक्ट गरेर अलोकेट गर्छौँ त्यसलाई त्यो सिस्टमलाई चाहिँ के भन्छ त बजेट भन्छ है सो बजेटरी कस्टिङ पनि कसरी गर्ने द्याट इज अल्सो आवर पार्ट अफ म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङ मेक बाई एन्ड ड्रप डिसिजन कुनै प्रडक्टलाई फ्याक्ट्रीभित्रै बनाउने कि त्यो प्रडक्टलाई आउटसोर्स गर्ने कि त्यो सबै डिसिजन्सहरू जति पनि इन्टरनल डिसिजन्सहरू हुन्छ त्यो चाहिँ के हुन्छ त मेक बाई एन्ड ड्रप डिसिजनमा चाहिँ हुन्छ अनि यो 6 टपिक्स लर्निङ आउटकम्स हाम्रो यो गरेर टोटल विल बी ह्याभिङ 30 लेक्चर्स अपार्ट फ्रम रिभिजन्स एन्ड अदर क्लास असाइनमेन्ट सो म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङ चाहिँ किन इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ भन्दाखेरि म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङ इज द निड अफ द आवर है जस्तो हामी फाइनेन्सियल एकाउन्टिङ गरिरहेको हुन्छौँ हामीले ट्रेडिसनल डेटा इन्फर्मेसनबाट हामीले के बनाइरहेको हुन्छौँ पास्ट रेकर्ड्सबाट जर्नल लेजर ट्रायल ब्यालेन्स ब्यालेन्स सिट प्रफिट एन्ड लस एकाउन्ट बनाइरहेको हुन्छौँ एन्ड दिज आर रुटिन इन नेचर होइन यो चाहिँ के हुन्छ त रुटिन इन नेचर हुन्छ यो चाहिँ हामीले नर्मली बनाइरहेको हुन्छौँ हामीले ट्याक्सेसन पे गर्नुपर्छ त्यसको लागि पनि बनाउनु पर्यो हामीले एनुअल जेनरल मिटिङमा सेयर होल्डर्सलाई पनि सो गर्नु पर्यो त्यसैले हामीले ब्यालेन्स सिट प्रफिट एन्ड लस अकाउन्ट नर्मल जसरी फाइनेन्सियल एकाउन्टिङको थ्रुबाट आउने प्रेजेन्टेसन हुन्छ त्यो त हामी प्रेजेन्ट गरिरहेको हुन्छौँ त्यो म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङ चाहिँ त्यो किन डिफ्रेन्ट छ भन्दाखेरि म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङले चाहिँ इट हेल्प्स यु मेक अ गुड म्यानेजर होइन इन्टरनल डिसिजन्स बाहिरको युजर्सलाई दिने इन्फर्मेसन र इन्टरनल इन्फर्मेसन्समा अलिकति भेरिएसन हुन्छ सो त्यो इन्टरनल इन्फर्मेसन डेटा फर्मुला एनालाइसिस सबै इन्टरप्रिटेसन्स गरेर चाहिँ त्यसले चाहिँ के गर्छ म्यानेजरलाई कम्पनीको बिहाफमा फ्युचरमा डिसिजन मेकिङ गर्नलाई चाहिँ हेल्प गर्छ अनि त्यो कसले गर्छ म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङले गर्छ है सो म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङ चाहिँ आजको डेटमा एकदम इम्पोर्टेन्ट किन छ भनेपछि आजको डेटमा एभ्रीबडी वान्ट्स टु बी एन्टरप्रेनर एभ्रीबडी वान्ट्स टु बी ए बिजनेसम्यान एभ्रीबडी वान्ट्स टु हेभ बिजनेस अन देयर ओन or everybody wants to be the CFO of the company, CEO of the company, or the head of the company, होइन सो त्यस्तो हुनको लागि चाहिँ म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङको नलेज हुनु चाहिँ एकदम जरुरी छ बिकज द्याट हेल्प्स द म्यानेजर टु टेक डिसिजन राइट डिसिजन एट द राइट टाइम सो म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङको स्कोप चाहिँ एकदम इन्क्रिज भएर चाहिँ गइरहेको हुन्छ है आजको डेटमा चाहिँ सो लेट्स बिगिन विथ वाट इज अकाउन्टिङ होइन अकाउन्टिङ भने चाहिँ के त्यहाँदेखि सुरु गऱ्यौँ भने विल बी गेटिङ टु नो मोर अबाउट म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ सो वाट इज अकाउन्टिङ इट इज अ प्रोसेस अफ identifying, recording, summarizing, and communicating the economic information to permit informed judgment and decision of user of the accounting. So accounting basically one it's the identifying whether the transaction involves the money into it or not, whether it's economic activity or not. If it is, accounting if starts with recording of the same, summarizing and communicating the economic information to permit informed judgment to the user so that they can have judgment or they can have decision about the financial statements. Concept of accounting was developed by Luca Pacioli, merchant of Venice, in 1494 AD. It was the concept of accounting developed around 700 years ago. There are three types of accounting: financial accounting, cost accounting, and management accounting. There are already three kinds of accounting, two kinds of accounting. Apart from management accounting, they are financial accounting and cost accounting. So what is financial accounting, right? That we normally do, that you have I think you might have already made journal entries, have posted them into the ledger, made trial balance out of it, and then did some kind of adjustments and made profit and loss account, and then made balance sheet finally, right? These are the part of financial accounting. I hope you have already done that in your previous semesters, because the normal accounting that we do in the stream of management is the financial accounting. Financial accounting represents collecting, summarizing, analyzing, and reporting of transaction in monetary terms. All the transactions that evolve around money or that can be quantified uh, come into the financial accounting. It represents collecting, summarizing, analyzing, and reporting of transaction in monetary terms. It covers recording of economic recording and preparation of financial statements. It includes the recording of all the monetary transactions and preparing final statements. Final statements भनेपछि के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि त profit and loss account, our balance sheet, cash flow statements, यिनीहरू भनेको के हो? These are our final statements, and it covers recording economic recording of the final statements, which are profit and loss account, balance sheet, and cash flow statements. Financial accounting has to determine the state of operation and financial position of an organization. Financial accounting चाहिँ हाम्रो company कसरी run भइरहेको छ, whether it is running on profit or not, हाम्रो state of operation के छ, कति पर्सेन्टेजले हामी प्रफिट बनाउन सकिरहेको छौँ, सेयर होल्डर्सहरूको भागमा कति डिभिडेन्ड गइरहेको छ, हाम्रो फाइनेन्शियल पोजिसन के छ, हाम्रो एसेट्स कति छ, हाम्रो ब्याङ्क ब्यालेन्स कति छ, हाम्रो इन्भेस्टमेन्ट इन सेयर्स कति छ, इन्भेस्टमेन्ट इन ल्यान्ड कति छ, इन्भेस्टमेन्ट इन अदर सेयर्स कति छ, हाम्रो लायबिलिटिज के छ, हाम्रो लोन कति छ, हाम्रो क्रेडिटर्सहरू कति छ, हाम्रो करेन्ट एसेट कति छ, रिसिभ गर्नुपर्ने रिसिभेबल्सहरू कति छ, त्यो फाइनेन्शियल पोजिसन्स भन्ने केले देखाउँछ त फाइनेन्शियल अकाउन्टिङ। त नर्मल अकाउन्टिङ वी डु होइन, जस्तो हामीले जर्नल लेजर ट्रायल ब्यालेन्स जति पनि हामीले अकाउन्टिङ गर्छौँ, द रुटिन कोर्स अफ अर्गनाइजेसन रन गर्दाखेरि पर्चेस गरेछ भने पर्चेसको इन्ट्री गर्ने, पर्चेस टु ब्याङ्क, सेल्स गरेछ भने ब्याङ्क टु सेल्स, जति पनि हाम्रो अनएक्चुअल बेसिसमा ट्रान्जेक्सन हुन्छ कम्पनीभित्र त्यसलाई रेकर्ड गरेर प्रेजेन्ट गर्ने काम चाहिँ केले गर्छ त फाइनेन्सियल अकाउन्टिङले। दिस हेज बिन डन सिन्स अ नम्बर अफ एजेस होइन। फाइनेन्सियल अकाउन्टिङ त हामी नर्मली जुन अकाउन्टिङलाई बुझ्छौँ, जुन अकाउन्टिङको बारेमा वाट वी थिङ्क, this is the financial accounting. This is the normal routine course of accounting we do. Another kind of accounting is the cost accounting. Cost accounting is only related to the production or service industries to calculate the cost of the product or the cost of the service. है कुनै पनि प्रडक्ट अथवा सर्भिसको कस्ट कति भनेर निकाल्नको लागि युज हुने अकाउन्टिङलाई चाहिँ के भन्छ त कस्ट अकाउन्टिङ भन्छ। अनि द्याट इज नट प्रिपेयर्ड इन द नर्मल कोर्स अफ बिजनेस. It is only prepared by the manufacturing or service-oriented industries, and it is not in routine nature also. Expenses incurred for producing goods or services is known as cost. Accounting refers to the process of maintaining systematic report. So cost भन्ने चाहिँ के हो त? The expenditures that we incur in producing goods or services, and accounting is the process of maintaining systematic report. And when we collaborate these two statements, we come to a conclusion that cost accounting is a process of systematic recording of costs or expenses that provides information to the users in a meaningful way. It is the cost or expenses that we incur in order to produce a thing or to produce a service, so that it provides information, useful information to the users. According to Chartered Institute of Cost and Management Accounting, ICMA UK London, defines cost accounting is the application of accounting and costing principles, methods and techniques in the ascertainment of cost and the analysis of saving and or excess is compared with previous experience or with standards. So यसले चाहिँ के गर्छ, कस्ट अकाउन्टिङले चाहिँ कुनै पनि कस्टको प्रडक्टको कस्ट कति छ होइन, इट हेल्प्स टु असर्टेन द कस्ट एन्ड टु इट हेल्प्स इन हाम्रो कस्ट जति बनाइरहेको छौँ त्यो एक्सेस भएको छ कि सेभ भइरहेको छ कि के छ भनेर एनालाइसिस गर्नलाई पनि हेल्प गर्छ कस्ट अकाउन्टिङले. And now the topic we are going to enter into is management accounting. Management accounting भने चाहिँ के हो त भन्दाखेरि it is a branch of accounting which facilitates management by communicating necessary information to carry out management functions smoothly. यो चाहिँ के हो, it's also a part of accounting होइन. यो चाहिँ केसँग रिलेटेड हुन्छ, फाइनेन्सियल अकाउन्टिङ भने चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ हाम्रो रुटिन जब हो होइन. रुटिन जति पनि काम हुन्छ अर्गनाइजेसनभित्र, जति पनि ट्रान्जेक्सन्स हुन्छ त्यसलाई रेकर्ड गर्ने, रिपोर्ट गर्ने, प्रेजेन्ट गर्ने काम कसले गर्छ, फाइनेन्सियल अकाउन्टिङले गर्छ. कस्ट अकाउन्टिङले के गर्छ, कुनै पनि प्रडक्टको कस्ट कति हो, कुनै पनि सर्भिसको कस्ट कति हो त्यो कुरा डेपिक्ट गर्ने काम चाहिँ कसले गर्छ, कस्ट अकाउन्टिङले गर्छ. And then comes management accounting. Management accounting ले चाहिँ के गर्छ भन्दाखेरि it provides the information, it provides the data for managers होइन, for management लेभललाई चाहिँ इन्फर्मेसन प्रोभाइड गर्ने, इन्टरनल म्यानेजमेन्टलाई इन्फर्मेसन प्रोभाइड गर्ने काम कसले गर्छ, म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले गर्छ है. It's a branch of accounting which facilitates management by communicating necessary information to carry out management functions smoothly. म्यानेजमेन्ट फङ्सन्स भन्ने कस्तो हुन्छ भनेपछि म्यानेजर छ भने उसले कम्पनीको बिहाफमा डिसिजन लिनुपर्ने हुन्छ. अब कुनै सेल्स लाइनलाई बढाउने कि कुनै प्रडक्टलाई अर्को प्रडक्ट लन्च गर्ने कि नगर्ने, अनि हामीले इम्प्लोइजहरू हायर गर्ने कि इम्प्लोइजहरूलाई ट्रेनिङ प्रोभाइड गर्ने कि इम्प्लोइजहरूको स्यालेरी बोनसहरू बढाइदिने कि बढाइदिने कि के गर्ने, त्यो डिसिजन मेकिङ गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ होइन. अब कुनै पनि कुनै एउटा प्रडक्ट लाइन्छ जसले चाहिँ कन्टिन्युस 3-4 इयर्सदेखि लस मात्र भनिरहेको छ, वेदर अब त्यो लस मात्रै गरिरहेको प्रडक्टलाई चाहिँ हामीले अहिले कन्टिन्यू नगर्ने कि फ्युचर के छ त्यसको, त्यो प्रडक्टलाई डिस्कन्टिन्यू गरेर नयाँ भेन्चरमा जाने कि इन्भेस्टमेन्ट अपर्च्युनिटिजहरू कुनमा इन्भेस्ट गर्दा ठिक हुन्छ, ल्यान्डमा इन्भेस्ट गर्ने कि सेयर्समा इन्भेस्ट गर्ने कि अरू रियल स्टेटमा इन्भेस्ट गर्ने कि इन्भेस्ट गर्ने. देयर माइट बी अ लट अफ डिसिजन्स टु बी मेड होइन. एउटा म्यानेजरले, इन्टरनल म्यानेजमेन्ट टिमले चाहिँ के हुन्छ त, उनीहरू जस्ट फाइनल स्टेटमेन्ट्स बनाएर मात्र त्यतिले मात्र त बुझाउँदैन, किनभने उनीहरूलाई हरेक दिन, हरेक क्वार्टरमा, हरेक मन्थमा चाहिँ एउटा काइन्ड अफ प्रेसर हुन्छ अर्गनाइजेसनलाई म्याक्सिमम प्रफिट दिने, अर्गनाइजेसनलाई गाइड गर्ने, अर्गनाइजेसनलाई स्मुथली रन गर्ने रेस्पोन्सिबिलिटी कसको हुन्छ, इन्टरनल म्यानेजमेन्टको हुन्छ. सो म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले चाहिँ के गर्छ भन्दाखेरि त्यो इन्टरनल म्यानेजमेन्टलाई चाहिँ इन्फर्मेसन्स प्रोभाइड गर्ने काम गर्छ, सो द्याट त्यो अभाइलेबल डेटा, अभाइलेबल रिसोर्सेस, अभाइलेबल इन्फर्मेसनबाट युज गरेर चाहिँ म्यानेजरले के गर्छ त, कम्पनीको बिहाफमा राइट डिसिजन्स गर्छ एट द राइट टाइम. म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ त्यसैले के हो त, इज अ न्युली डेभलप्ड अकाउन्टिङ डिसिप्लिन. यो चाहिँ नयाँ डिसिप्लिन हो. ट्रेडिसनल्ली चाहिँ के हुन्थ्यो, हाम्रो फाइनेन्सियल अकाउन्टिङ हुन्थ्यो अनि कस्ट अकाउन्टिङ हुन्थ्यो. फाइनेन्सियल अकाउन्टिङ त इट्स भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट होइन, यो चाहिँ कम्पलसरी हामीले अर्गनाइजेसनभित्र फलो गर्नै पर्छ. तर म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङको लागि चाहिँ फलो गर्नै पर्छ भन्ने छैन. इफ त्यो इट्स भलन्टरी होइन, तर if you want to be a good manager or we have internal control mechanism or internal सिस्टमलाई एकदम स्मुथ, एकदमै स्ट्रङ बनाउनु पर्ने छ भने चाहिँ म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ चाहिन्छ. एन्ड म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ चाहिँ अलरेडी इस्टाब्लिस्ड भएको, अलरेडी युनिफर्म भएको, अलरेडी यस्तै हुनुपर्छ भन्ने खालको चाहिँ होइन, इट्स अ भेरी इभल्भिङ कन्सेप्ट है। म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ इज अ न्युली डेभलप्ड अकाउन्टिङ डिसिप्लिन। यो चाहिँ भर्खरै डेभलप भएको अकाउन्टिङ डिसिप्लिन हो। सो यसको कुनै स्ट्यान्डर्ड अथवा यही स्ट्यान्डर्ड अथवा कुनै बोर्डले स्पेसिफाई गरेको यही पार्टिकुलर्समा हुनुपर्छ भन्ने त्यस्तो रेस्ट्रिक्सन्सहरू केही पनि छैन। It provides accounting information to management for planning, decision making and controlling. यसले चाहिँ के गर्छ म्यानेजमेन्टलाई म्यानेजर्सलाई चाहिँ इन्फर्मेसन प्रोभाइड गर्छ। कस्तो इन्फर्मेसन? अकाउन्टिङ इन्फर्मेसन फर प्लानिङ, डिसिजन मेकिङ एन्ड कन्ट्रोलिङ। प्लान गर्नलाई कुनै पनि कम्पनीको बिहाफमा डिसिजन लिनलाई कुनै कस्ट बढिरहेको छ, कुनै कुरा एक्सपेन्डिचर्सलाई कन्ट्रोल गर्नुपर्ने छ भने त्यो कन्ट्रोल गर्नको लागि चाहिँ के गर्छ अकाउन्टिङ इन्फर्मेसन दिन्छ म्यानेजमेन्टलाई। हो त्यो अकाउन्टिङ इन्फर्मेसन गिभन टु म्यानेजमेन्ट फर प्लानिङ, डिसिजन मेकिङ एन्ड कन्ट्रोलिङ इज नोन एज म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ भयो है। अकर्डिङ टु आर.एन. एन्थनी, management accounting is concerned with accounting information that is useful to management. Management accounting doesn't care about how the information has to be presented. अब जस्तो फाइनल स्टेटमेन्ट्सहरू बनाउनलाई यही स्ट्यान्डर्डमा बनाउनुपर्छ, लेफ्टमा यो हुनुपर्छ, राइटमा यो हुनुपर्छ, फर्स्टमा यो देखिनुपर्छ, सेकेन्डमा यो भन्छ, त्यस्तो खालको फर्मेट स्ट्यान्डर्ड हुन्छ। तर म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ त्यस्तो फर्मेट केही हुँदैन। म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ इज ओन्ली कन्सर्न्ड विथ द्याट पार्ट अफ द फाइनेन्सियल इन्फर्मेसन विच इज युजफुल टु द म्यानेजमेन्ट। जुन चाहिँ म्यानेजरको लागि म्यानेजमेन्टको लागि इम्पोर्टेन्ट हुन्छ त्यो इन्फर्मेसनसँग मात्र कन्सर्न हुन्छ। कसको? म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङको। सो म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ भने चाहिँ के हो त? द्याट इज which facilitates, which helps management to take which helps the management to write decisions and to run the management function smoothly by communicating necessary information, only the necessary information, not all information. Management accounting is a very newly developed concept and it provides accounting information to management for planning, decision making and controlling. According to R.N. Anthony, management accounting is concerned with the accounting information of that financial information which is only required for the management, which is only necessary or useful to the management. Right? This is our management accounting. Nambatic clear. So management accounting is the accounting for management or the accounting for managers. जस्तो हामीले फाइनल स्टेटमेन्ट्सहरू बनाउँछौँ है, जस्तो प्रफिट एन्ड लस, ब्यालेन्स सिट, त्यो भने चाहिँ के हुन्छ? एक्सटर्नल युजर्सको लागि हुन्छ, त्यो भनेको सेयर होल्डर्सको लागि हुन्छ। त्यो भनेको हामीले प्रेजेन्ट गर्नलाई हामीले यस्तो यस्तो काम गर्यो, यति प्रफिट अर्न गर्यो, हाम्रो ब्यालेन्स सिट यति छ भनेर बाहिरको युजर्सहरूलाई देखाउनको लागि हामीले एनुअल रिपोर्टमा राख्छौँ त्यो होइन। ट्याक्सेसनमा सबमिट, ट्याक्सेसन अथोरिटिजमा सबमिट गर्छौँ, कम्पनी रजिस्ट्रारको कार्यालयमा सेन्ड गर्छौँ। त्यो चाहिँ हाम्रो के हो त? द्याट इज आवर कम्पल्सन होइन, त्यो चाहिँ द्याट इज आवर कम्पल्सरी पार्ट द्याट वी हेभ टु डु। तर म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ भने चाहिँ कम्पल्सरी होइन, इट इज ओन्ली द इन्फर्मेसन विच इज रिलेभेन्ट टु द म्यानेजर्स। जति पनि अकाउन्टिङ इन्फर्मेसन हुन्छ त्यो सबै के को क्याटेगोरीमा पर्छ भन्दाखेरि म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङको क्याटेगोरीमा पर्छ। सो लेट मी चेक द एटेन्डेन्स है। अघि नआएकोबाट कोही प्रेजेन्ट छ? नो। दिपेश, रेभिसन छैन। We have 23 I'm sorry 23 attendees at present. So let's move on to next slide. Objectives of management accounting. So हाम्रो management accounting objective चाहिँ के हो त? Every accounting has its own objective है। So management accounting objective होइन, to help in planning and formulation of policy. यसले चाहिँ के गर्छ? पोलिसी मेकिङ लेभल भनेको म्यानेजमेन्ट लेभल हो होइन। द people who own and run the organization, they have the authority to plan and formulate the policy. So management accounting ले के गर्छ? It helps managers, it helps the management, it helps the owner of the companies to plan and formulate the policy. अब हाम्रो policy कस्तो हुनुपर्छ, हामीले प्लानिङ कसरी गर्ने, हाम्रो कुन एरियामा कति एक्सपेन्डिचर गर्ने, हाम्रो कुन प्रडक्ट लाइनलाई चाहिँ कन्टिन्यू गर्ने, कुन इन्भेस्टमेन्ट अपर्च्युनिटिजहरू सिक गर्ने, कुन प्रडक्ट लाइन हाम्रो लस भइरहेको छ कुनलाई चाहिँ हामीले सेल अफ गरिदिने कुन कुन कम्पनीको सेयर्समा इन्भेस्ट गर्ने कुन सेक्टरमा इन्भेस्ट गर्ने रियल स्टेटमा इन्भेस्ट गर्दा बेटर हुन्छ कि अरू स्टार्टअप कम्पनीजहरूमा इन्भेस्ट गर्दा बेटर हुन्छ देयर आर लट अफ डिसिजन्स अ लट अफ प्लानिङ एन्ड गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ अर्गनाइजेसनको है सो त्यो सबै गर्नलाई चाहिँ कसले हेल्प गर्छ म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले हेल्प गर्छ इट हेल्प्स इन प्लानिङ एन्ड फर्मुलेसन अफ पोलिसी and to help in organizing by allocating right responsibility to right people at right time. म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ चाहिँ सिधै अकाउन्टिङ त्यो अकाउन्टिङ प्रेजेन्टेसन मात्र भन्दा पनि इट लुक्स इन्टु इन्टेन्जिबल एस्पेक्ट्स अफ थिङ्स अल्सो अनि कुनै अब इम्प्लोइजहरूको बारेमा पनि यसले कन्सर्न राख्छ है जस्तो अब नर्मल्ली फाइनेन्सियल अकाउन्टिङ पर्सपेक्टिभबाट हेऱ्यो भने इम्प्लोइजहरूको कस्ट बढ्यो भने त ओभरअल हाम्रो फाइनेन्सियल कस्ट बढिरहेको हुन्छ तर म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङको पर्सपेक्टिभबाट हामीले ह्युमन रिसोर्सको कस्ट बढायो हामी स्यालेरी धेरै पे गर्यो ओभरटाइम बढी पे गर्यो बोनस बढी पे गर्यो भने यसो सर हेर्दाखेरि एक्सपेन्डिचर धेरै भएको जस्तो हुन्छ तर त्यो स्यालेरी त्यो ओभरटाइम त्यो बोनस अनि त्यो ट्रेनिङ्सहरूले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ के हुन्छ इम्प्लोइजहरूको सेल्फ एस्टिम हाई हुन जान्छ दे फिल मोर मोटिभेटेड दे फिल मोर connected to the organization ownership feel हुन्छ and they start working more they start being more effective जसले गर्दा चाहिँ के हुन्छ त हाम्रो इभन दो हाम्रो एचआर कस्ट धेरै भए पनि ह्युमन रिसोर्स कस्ट धेरै भए पनि हाम्रो प्रोडक्टिभिटी धेरै भयो इफिसियन्सी धेरै भयो आउटपुट धेरै आउन आउँछ एन्ड सो ओभरअल पिक्चरमा हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ हाम्रो इभन दो हाम्रो एचआर कस्ट इन्क्रिज भए पनि ओभरअल चाहिँ हाम्रो बेनिफिट नै भइरहेको आउटपुट बढिरहेको प्रोडक्टिभिटी बढिरहेको चाहिँ हुनसक्छ है सो म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले त्यस्तो पर्सपेक्टिभबाट पनि हेर्न हामीलाई हेल्प गर्छ इट हेल्प्स टु सी how efficient our workers are and what will help them to keep what will help to keep them more motivated and more enthusiastic about doing their work and feel more ownership into the company त्यो सबै चाहिँ के गर्छ म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले गर्नलाई हेल्प गर्छ सो इट हेल्प्स अर्गनाइजिङ बाई एलोकेटिङ राइट रेस्पोन्सिबिलिटी टु राइट पिपल एट राइट टाइम अहिले चाहिँ त्यही भएर के गर्छ त प्रपर अर्गनाइजेसनलाई प्रपरली रन गर्नलाई पनि हेल्प गर्छ इट प्रोभाइड्स right responsibility to right people at the right time and it also helps in modification of data म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले के गर्छ भने डाटाहरूले के गर्छ मोडिफाई गर्छ है किनभने म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ भन्ने बित्तिकै छुट्टै नयाँ अकाउन्टिङ त हुँदैन नयाँ डेबिट क्रेडिट नयाँ वे अफ रेकर्डिङ थिङ्स त हुँदैन किनभने अकाउन्टिङको बेस त त्यही हो तर म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ इज मोर कन्सर्न अन मोडिफाइङ द इन्फर्मेसन होइन अलरेडी अभाइलेबल फाइनेन्सियल इन्फर्मेसन छ फाइनेन्सियल अकाउन्टिङबाट आएको भने त्यसलाई तोडमोड गर्ने त्यसलाई मोडिफाई गर्ने त्यसलाई एनालाइसिस गर्ने त्यसलाई इन्टरप्रेट गर्ने त्यसलाई रिपोर्टहरू बनाउने फोरकास्ट गर्ने बजेट बनाउने प्रेडिक्सन गर्ने जति पनि आफ्टर वर्ड्स हुन्छ नि अब रेकर्डिङ ट्रान्जेक्सन्सलाई रेकर्ड भइसक्यो जति पनि त्यसलाई फ्युचर युज हुनसक्छ जति पनि त्यसलाई मोर फिल्टर हुनसक्छ जति त्यसलाई एनालाइसिस इन्टरप्रिटेसन्स हुनसक्छ फर्मुला लगाएर हुन्छ कि चार्ट्सहरू बनाएर जसरी त्यसलाई मोर वी डिग इन्टु द इन्फर्मेसन अब प्रफिट धेरै आइरहेको छ भने किन प्रफिट आइरहेको छ के कुराले गर्दा चाहिँ के चाहिँ हाम्रो स्ट्रेन्थ हो र यति धेरै प्रफिट भइरहेको छ लस भइरहेको छ भने हामीले के कुरामा चाहिँ बढी फोकस हुनुपर्छ लसलाई मिनिमाइज गर्नलाई त्यो कुरामा चाहिँ डिगिन गर्नलाई चाहिँ केले हेल्प गर्छ म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले सो म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ डजन्ट ह्याभ इट्स ओन र इन्फर्मेसन नयाँ कन्सेप्ट नयाँ डेबिट क्रेडिट नयाँ वे अफ रेकर्डिङ एसेट लाइबिलिटी त्यस्तो होइन त्यो सेम नै हो होइन तर this is more concerned about modification of data. Raw data presented by cost and financial accounting are modified by management accounting. Management accounting ले के गर्छ त जति पनि cost accounting जति पनि financial accounting ले provide गरेको information हुन्छ त्यसलाई चाहिँ के गर्छ modify गर्छ अनि modify गरेर analysis interpret गरेर that enables the management and managers to take the right decisions है controlling management accounting control गर्न पनि help गर्छ helps in controlling deviation between actual and planned performance by using budgetary and standard costing techniques of course हामीले कमिङ इयरमा यति खर्च गर्ने भनेर प्लान गर्यो तर त्यो कमिङ इयरमा त्यति भएन एक्चुअली चाहिँ वी एक्सपेन्डेड मोर अर एक्चुअली वी स्पेन्ड लेस होइन धेरै खर्च गर्यो भने किन खर्च गर्यो किन डिफ्रेन्सेस आइरहेको छ कम खर्च गर्यो भने किन कम खर्च भयो यो डिफ्रेन्सेसहरू किन आइरहेको छ भनेर we try to see the deviation, we try to control the cost होइन यति धेरै फरक किन आयो यति भेरिएन्सेस किन आइरहेछ whether it's good or not different पर्सपेक्टिभबाट हेरेर त्यसलाई जज गर्ने काम गर्छौँ है सो म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङ अल्सो हेल्प्स इन कन्ट्रोलिङ डेभिएसन भनेको चाहिँ डिफ्रेन्ट फ्रम द प्लान्ड अर एक्सपेक्टेसन हाम्रो एक्सपेक्टेसन प्लान गरेको भन्दा कति डेभिएसन भइरहेछ कति डिफ्रेन्सेस छ त एक्चुअल र हाम्रो बजेटेड र हाम्रो स्ट्यान्डर्डबाट कति तलमाथि भएको छ त्यो हेरेर त्यो कन्ट्रोल गर्नलाई चाहिँ हेल्प गर्छ म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङले म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङ अल्सो हेल्प्स इन डिसिजन मेकिङ कसलाई म्यानेजर्सहरूले चाहिँ बेटर डिसिजन गरोस् कम्पनीको बिहाफमा भनेर डिसिजन मेकिङ गर्नुको लागि पनि म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङ इज भेरी युजफुल एनालाइसिस एन्ड इन्टरप्रिटेसन अफ डाटा म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङको अब्जेक्टिभ भनेकै डेटाले के गर्ने र डाटा जति पनि हामीलाई इन्फर्मेसन प्रोभाइड हुन्छ युजिङ द्याट फाइनेन्सियल अकाउन्टिङ एन्ड कस्ट एकाउन्टिङ त्यसरी प्राप्त भएको त्यसरी आएको इन्फर्मेसनलाई चाहिँ एनालाइसिस गर्ने इन्टरप्रेट गर्ने काम चाहिँ के कसको हो त म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङको हो सो सर यसरी हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ देयर आर numerous objectives of management accounting. First, planning and formulation of policy, allocating right responsibility to right people at right time, modification of data, controlling the deviation between actual and planned performance, decision making, analysis and interpretation of data. So हाम्रो म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङको क्यारेक्टरिस्टिक्स के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि इट्स अलवेज फ्युचर ओरिएन्टेड है भन्नाले बजेट बनाइरहेको छ भनेको हाम्रो लास्ट इयरको लागि बनाएको हो त करेन्ट इयरको लागि बनाएको हो त होइन जस्तो अब हाम्रो जेष्ठ 15सम्म नेपाल गभर्मेन्टको बजेट आउँछ त्यो बजेट भनेको कुन इयरको लागि त कमिङ इयरको फर्स्ट राउन्ड 2078 देखि एन्ड अफ असार 2079 सम्म चाहिँ यो आर्थिक वर्षमा कमिङ इयरमा चाहिँ हामी यो कुराहरू गर्छौँ यो हेरमा यति खर्च गर्छौँ यो गर्छौँ भनेर गभर्मेन्टले के गर्छ बजेट निकाल्छ सिमिलरली हामीले म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङले पनि के गर्छ त इट हेल्प्स इन बजेटिङ फोरकास्टिङ हामी एक वर्षमा चाहिँ यति प्रफिट गर्ने एक वर्षमा योमा यति खर्च गर्ने एक वर्षमा यति सेल्स टार्गेट अचिभ गर्ने यो क्वार्टरमा यति गर्ने भने चाहिँ पनि के हुन्छ त हाम्रो म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङको मोटिभ के हुन्छ जहिले पनि फ्युचर ओरिएन्टेड हुन्छ जहिले पनि फ्युचरमा हुन्छ हाम्रो फाइनेन्सियल एकाउन्टिङको चाहिँ के भन्छ फ्युचर ओरिएन्टेड हुँदैन इट्स ओन्ली लिमिटेड अप टु रेकर्डिङ द अलरेडी अक्वर्ड ट्रान्जेक्सन्स होइन जस्तो सेल्स भएपछि बल्ल सेल्स रेकर्ड गर्ने पर्चेस भयो भने पर्चेस गर्ने अनि एक महिनामा कति के भयो भनेर एक महिना पछि गएर रिपोर्ट निकाल्ने यस्तो यस्तो भयो हाम्रो यति सेल्स भएको थियो यति पर्चेस भयो यति एक्सपेन्डिचर भयो दिस इज आवर प्रफिट एन्ड दिस इज आवर कन्डिसन अफ एसेट्स एन्ड लायबिलिटिज दिस इज आवर फाइनेन्सियल पोजिसन दिस इज आवर स्टेट अपरेसन भनेर भइसकेपछि चाहिँ प्रेजेन्ट गर्ने काम चाहिँ कसको हो त फाइनेन्सियल एकाउन्टिङको है अनि म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङको चाहिँ के हुन्छ त पास्ट डाटा चाहिँ लिन्छ फाइनेन्सियल एकाउन्टिङबाट तर जहिले पनि फ्युचरको बारेमा सोध्छ फ्युचरमा हामीले कति सेल्स गर्ने फ्युचरमा हामीले कहाँ जाने जहिले पनि हाम्रो डिरेक्सन म्यानेजर्सको म्यानेजमेन्टको डिरेक्सन भनेको जहिले पनि के हुन्छ त फ्युचरमा चाहिँ हेरिरहेको हुन्छ अहिले एनालाइसिस इन्टरप्रेट गरेर फ्युचरमा चाहिँ हामीले के कस्तो गर्ने भोलि हाम्रो बिजनेसलाई कसरी लिएर जाने कुन भेन्चरमा लैजाने केमा इन्भेस्ट गर्ने केलाई सेल अफ गर्ने इम्प्लोइजहरूलाई कसरी सँगै लिएर जाने हाम्रो वाट विल बी आवर फ्युचर इन 5 years 10 years त्यसरी चाहिँ एउटा मिसनमा लिएर जाने फ्युचरमा ओरिएन्ट गराउने काम चाहिँ केले गर्छ म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङले गर्छ म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङको लागि चाहिँ नो युनिफर्म मेथड जस्तो फाइनेन्सियल एकाउन्टिङको केसमा चाहिँ फलो जिएएपी भन्छ है ग्याप भनेर भन्छ जिएएपी जनरली एक्सेप्टेड एकाउन्टिङ प्रिन्सिपल्सहरू फलो गर्छौँ है एकाउन्टिङ स्ट्यान्डर्ड्सहरू फलो गर्छौँ योलाई यसरी रेकर्ड गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने कम्पल्सन हुन्छ फाइनेन्सियल एकाउन्टिङमा अनि युनिफर्म अप्रोच हुन्छ एक्स कम्पनीले पनि त्यसरी गरिरहेको हुन्छ वाइ कम्पनीले पनि त्यसरी गरिरहेको हुन्छ जेड कम्पनीले पनि त्यसरी नै गरिरहेको हुन्छ द वे हाउ इन्फर्मेसन्स आर रेकर्डेड आर सेम तर म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङमा चाहिँ युनिफर्म मेथड चाहिँ हुँदैन हुनाले अब जस्तो पनि एनालाइसिस हुनसक्छ अब 1 year एनालाइसिस हुनसक्ला 2 year एनालाइसिस होला 3 years फोरकास्ट हुनसक्ला बेस्ट केस सिनारियो होला वर्स्ट केस सिनारियो होला और समवेयर इन बिट्विन होइन मोडेस्ट केस सिनारियो होला सो देयर इज नो युनिफर्म मेथड सो हाम्रो फाइनेन्सियल एकाउन्टिङमा चाहिँ के हुन्छ एक्चुअलमा गर्नुपर्छ होइन अब सेल्स 1 लाख भयो भने 1 लाखमै 1 लाखको सेल्स गर्दा कति पैसा आयो कति गयो एक्चुअलीमै रेकर्ड गर्नुपर्छ तर म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङमा चाहिँ वी हेभ द्याट एउटा प्रिभिलेज भनौँ न, त्यो हामीलाई एक्स्ट्रा बेनिफिट के छ भने हामी वी क्यान प्रेडिक्ट एनिथिङ। 50,000 सेल्स भयो भने के हुन्छ, 1 लाख नम्बर अफ सेल्स भयो भने के हुन्छ, 2 लाख भयो भने के हुन्छ, हाम्रो बेस्ट केसमा चाहिँ हामी कहाँ हुन्छौँ, वर्स्ट केसमा चाहिँ हामी कहाँ हुन्छौँ, ठिक ठिकै भयो भने कहाँ हुन्छौँ, मार्केटमा इन्फ्लेसन रेट यो भयो भने हामी कहाँ हुन्छौँ, इन्टरनेसनल करेन्सी एक्सचेन्ज रेट फरक पऱ्यो भने कहाँ हुन्छौँ होइन। यो सेक्टरमा इन्भेस्ट गर्दाखेरि कति हुन्छ हाम्रो प्रफिट, यो सेक्टरमा इन्भेस्ट गर्दा के हुन्छ, हाम्रो यो सेक्टरमा इन्भेस्ट गर्दाखेरि हाम्रो स्ट्रेन्थ विकनेस थ्रेट अपर्च्युनिटी के हुन्छ, भेरियस रेन्ज अफ इन्फर्मेसन होइन अभाइलेबल। जति पनि हामीले पर्मिटेसन कम्बिनेसन गरेर जति पनि एरियाजमा हामीले इन्फर्मेसन लिन सक्यो हामीलाई चाहिएको बेसिसमा होइन। हामीले 1 इयरमा 1 इयरको इन्फर्मेसन 1 इयरको 5 इयर्सको गर्नु 5 इयर्सको, त्यही भएर यसमा यसरी नै गर्ने, यही नै गर्ने, यही नै टेक्निक युज गर्ने भन्ने कम्पल्सन चाहिँ हुँदैन होइन। यसमा चाहिँ एक्चुअलमा बेस भएर हामीले प्रेडिक्सन बेसिसमा गर्ने भएकोले चाहिँ त्यसमा युनिफर्म मेथड हुँदैन। देयर आर न्युमरस वे डेटा क्यान बी प्रेजेन्टेड, त्यही भएर यसरी नै गर्नुपर्छ, यसरी नै बेस्ट वे हो भन्ने चाहिँ हुँदैन म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङमा चाहिँ है। जस्तो फाइनेन्सियल अकाउन्टिङमा चाहिँ के हुन्छ त, ट्रान्जेक्सन भयो भने रेकर्ड गर्नै पर्छ, तर रेकर्ड गर्ने एउटै तरिका हुन्छ अनि हामीले चाहिँ प्रेज्युम गरेर फोरकास्ट गरेर यसरी 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 भनेर गर्न मिल्दैन। एक्चुअलमा जे छ त्यही मात्र गर्नुपर्छ। So since management is future oriented, there can be a lot of permutations and combinations होइन। सो बेस्ट अल्टरनेटिभ के हुन्छ भन्ने निकाल्नको लागि एउटै युनिफर्म मेथड हुन्छ भन्ने छैन। कम्पनी एक्स, कम्पनी वाई, कम्पनी जेड, 3-4वटा कम्पनी 3-4वटा अप्रोचेसहरू पनि हुनसक्छ। सो देयर इज नो युनिफर्म मेथड अफ डुइङ म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङ। प्रोभाइड्स डेटा बट नट डिसिजन। सी अब त्यही सेम अल्टिमेटली डिसिजन लिने भनेको त ह्युमन बिङले हो होइन। ह्युमन बिङले भनेको म्यानेजमेन्टमा बसेको मान्छेले, सिइओले, सिएफओले, कर्पोरेट ट्रेजररले, अनि कस्ट कन्ट्रोल गर्न बसेको मान्छेले, त्यसले चाहिँ डिसिजन लिने हो अन बिहाफ अफ द कम्पनी होइन। सो हाम्रो म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले के गर्छ भन्दाखेरि डेटा दिन्छ, एनालाइसिस गरेर दिन्छ, तर अल्टिमेट डिसिजन लिने काम त हो। यो गर्दा यति प्रफिट छ, त्यो 1 इयरसम्म कन्टिन्यू गऱ्यो भने यति प्रफिट छ, 2 इयर गऱ्यो भने यति प्रफिट छ, यो सेक्टरमा गयो भने यति प्रफिट छ भनेर हामीलाई इन्फर्मेसन प्रोभाइड गर्ने काम चाहिँ म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले गर्छ। तर इभेन्चुअली त्यो डिसिजन लिने काम चाहिँ कसको हुन्छ र, म्यानेजमेन्टको अर म्यानेजरको नै हुन्छ। सो सेम सेट अफ इन्फर्मेसन छ इन्टु XYZ कम्पनी छ, सेम सेट अफ इन्फर्मेसन छ भने एक्स कम्पनीको म्यानेजरले लिने डिसिजन र वाई कम्पनीको म्यानेजरले लिने डिसिजन डिफ्रेन्ट हुनसक्छ, बिकज इट डिपेन्ड्स अपन द कन्साइन्स। के कुरालाई चाहिँ इम्पोर्टेन्समा राखेर डिसिजन लिने भन्ने कुरा हुन्छ। एन्ड डिसिजन मेकिङ चाहिँ पर्सन टु पर्सन डिफर गर्छ है। इट डिपेन्ड्स अपन अब कसैलाई कुनै इन्स्टिङ्क्टले काम गर्ला होइन, कसैलाई चाहिँ यो सेक्टरमा बढी होला जस्तो लाग्ला। डिपेन्ड्स अपन द एक्सपर्टिज नलेज एन्ड डिपेन्ड्स अपन द यो प्रेडिक्सन पनि होइन। सो म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले चाहिँ के गर्छ, डेटालाई प्रेजेन्ट गर्ने काम, पस्किने काम गर्छ होइन। तर खानु आफूले इनहेल चाहिँ कसले गर्नुपर्छ त, म्यानेजरले। एन्ड द डिसिजन टु इनहेल इट अर नट entirely depends upon the manager. So management accountingले चाहिँ के गर्छ, प्रोभाइड्स द डेटा बट नट डिसिजन। डिसिजन लिने काम चाहिँ कसले गर्छ त, किनभने म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङबाट आएको इन्फर्मेसनबाट एउटै डिसिजन राइट हुन्छ भन्ने छैन। देयर माइट बी सो मेनी अप्सन्स टु चुज होइन। अनि कुन अप्सन चाहिँ बेस्ट हुन्छ भनेर चुज गर्ने काम चाहिँ कसको हुन्छ त, म्यानेजर। अल्टिमेट डिसिजन हेज टु बी टेकन बाई द म्यानेजर। अनि म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले के गर्छ, एनालाइसिस गर्छ। म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले चाहिँ फेरि सुरुदेखि नै डिफ्रेन्ट तरिकाबाट जर्नल लेजर ट्रायल ब्यालेन्स सिट बनाउने होइन। अलरेडी भएको इन्फर्मेसनलाई चाहिँ के गर्नुपर्छ, एनालाइसिस, त्यसलाई प्रोजेक्सन लगाउने। 10% सेल्स इन्क्रिज भयो भने के हुन्छ, 20% भयो भने के हुन्छ, हामीले प्रोडक्सन डिपार्टमेन्टमा एउटा प्रडक्टलाई ड्रप गर्यो भने के हुन्छ, यो यति इम्प्लोइजहरूलाई फायर गरेर नयाँ हायर गर्यो भने के हुन्छ, ट्रेनिङ कस्ट बढायो भने के हुन्छ भनेर एनालाइसिसवाला पार्ट मात्र हो म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले गर्ने। यसले नयाँ नै अकाउन्टिङ गर्ने, नयाँ नै केही क्रिएटै गर्ने, फन्डामेन्टल्स नै चेन्ज गर्ने भन्ने त्यो चाहिँ होइन। द क्यारेक्टरिस्टिक अफ म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ इज एनालाइसिस। एनालाइसिसवाला पार्ट चाहिँ मोर इम्पोर्टेन्ट हुन्छ।
देयर इज कन्ट्रोलिङ चाहिँ कसरी हुन्छ हामीले बजेट बनाएर के गर्छौँ हामीले यति खर्च गर्ने भनेर प्लान गर्छौँ होइन त्यो इयर सुरुभन्दा आउनुभन्दा अगाडि नै जस्तो जेठमै हामीले के को लागि प्लान गर्छौँ कमिङ श्रावणदेखि सुरु हुने इयरको लागि प्लान गर्छौँ कन्ट्रोल गर्छौँ मनाले प्लान गर्छौँ होइन त्यसपछि एक्चुअली के भयो एक वर्षपछि एक्चुअली हामीले प्लान गरेको के भयो अनि एक्चुअलमा के भयो त्यसलाई कम्पेरिजन गर्छौँ होइन एक्सपेन्डिचर बढ्यो भने किन बढ्यो सेल्स घट्यो भने किन घट्यो राम्रो कुरा छ भने किन राम्रो भयो नराम्रो कुरा छ एक्सपेन्डिचर बढिरहेछ सेल्स घटिरहेछ भने के कारणले घट्यो हामी त्यो चाहिँ के गर्छौँ हेरेर एनालाइसिस गरेर त्यसलाई कस्ट बढिरहेको छ भने हाम्रो एक्सपेन्डिचर्स बढिरहेको छ हाम्रो सेल्स घटिरहेको छ भने त्यसलाई कन्ट्रोल गर्ने काम चाहिँ कन्ट्रोलिङवाला पार्ट पनि के भयो त म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङको पार्ट भयो सो आवर मेन क्यारेक्टरिस्टिक्स अफ म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ भने के छ भन्दाखेरि फ्युचर ओरिएन्टेड जहिले पनि के हुन्छ त फार साइटेड हुन्छ using the past information provided by the financial accounting त्यसलाई चाहिँ युज गरेर यसलाई इन्टरप्रेट गरेर it has always focuses on the future part अनि नो युनिफर्म मेथड पनि हुँदैन अब यही स्ट्यान्डर्डमा बनाउनु पर्छ भन्ने छैन जस्तो फाइनेन्सियल अकाउन्टिङमा एक्सवाइजेड कम्पनीले एउटै सेट अफ एउटै इन्फर्मेसन्सहरूलाई प्रेजेन्ट गर्ने एउटा कमन स्ट्यान्डर्ड हुन्छ भने आम सरी म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङको चाहिँ एउटै युनिफर्म मेथड हुन्छ भन्ने छैन एक्सवाइजेड कम्पनीमा पनि एक्सको लागि छुट्टै वाईको लागि छुट्टै जेडको लागि छुट्टै सेट अफ इन्फर्मेसन्स हुनसक्छ प्रोभाइड्स डेटा बट नट इन्फर्मेसन डेटा प्रोभाइड गर्ने काम गर्छ म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले बट डिसिजन मेकिङ इज द अल्टिमेट रेस्पोन्सिबिलिटी अफ द म्यानेजर एनालाइसिस पार्ट इज डन बाई नयाँ केही क्रिएट गर्ने फन्डामेन्टल्स चेन्ज नगर्ने गर्दैन म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले ओन्ली analyzes the information available from the various sources like management, financial accounting, cost accounting, taxation, laws, international treaties, अनि स्ट्याटिस्टिक्स म्याथमेटिक्स सबैतिरबाट इन्फर्मेसन्स लिएर एनालाइसिस गर्ने काम चाहिँ म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले गर्छ अनि इट हेल्प्स इन कन्ट्रोलिङ द कस्ट कन्ट्रोलिङ कसरी गर्छ भन्दाखेरि हाम्रो बजेटरी पर्फर्मेन्स हाम्रो स्ट्यान्डर्ड चाहिँ के थियो हाम्रो बजेटमा के थियो एक्चुअलमा के भयो डेभिएसन कता भयो कसरी भयो त्यो कुरा चाहिँ कन्ट्रोल गर्ने काम कसले गर्छ कन्ट्रोल गर्नको लागि पनि म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले हेल्प गर्छ है एन्ड देन फङ्सन्स अफ म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङको काम चाहिँ के हो त भन्दाखेरि के गर्छ त भन्दाखेरि इट हेज एन अर्गनाइजिङ भने चाहिँ राइट पिपललाई राइट प्लेसमा राइट टाइममा राख्ने काम चाहिँ कसले गर्छ म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले गर्छ म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले अब इम्प्लोइजहरूलाई मोटिभेटेड राख्ने कुन इम्प्लोइको एक्सपर्टिज के हो त्यसलाई चाहिँ कुन डिपार्टमेन्टमा राख्दा बेस्ट आउटपुट आउँछ उसलाई चाहिँ कुन ट्रेनिङ दियो भने उसको प्रोडक्टिभिटी अझ बढी इफिसियन्ट भएर आउँछ त्यो सबै गरेर अर्गनाइज गर्ने कम्पनीको एक्टिभिटिजहरूलाई अर्गनाइज गर्ने इम्प्लोइजहरूलाई अर्गनाइज गर्ने काम चाहिँ म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले गर्छ कन्ट्रोलिङ गर्ने अफकोर्स कम्पेरिजन बिट्विन द एक्चुअल एन्ड बजेटरी अर स्ट्यान्डर्ड पर्फर्मेन्स कन्ट्रोल गर्ने काम पनि म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले गर्छ कोअर्डिनेटिङ बिट्विन द डिफ्रेन्ट डिपार्टमेन्ट्स होइन म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ चाहिँ डजन्ट स्ट्यान्ड अलोन इट हेज टु म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले चाहिँ के गर्ने हो म्यानेजर्सलाई इनेबल गर्ने हो डिसिजन गर्नलाई सो द्याट इट इज इन गुड फेथ अफ द अर्गनाइजेसनको गुड फेथमा छ अर्गनाइजेसनको बेनिफिटमा हुने डिसिजन छ भने त्यो त्यस्तो खालको डिसिजन मेकिङ गर्नको लागि चाहिँ म्यानेजर्सलाई हेल्प गर्छ म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले सो म्यानेजमेन्ट त्यस्तो खालको डिसिजन्स गर्नको लागि यु हेभ टु बी एबल टु कोअर्डिनेट बिट्विन भेरियस डिपार्टमेन्ट्स प्रोडक्सन डिपार्टमेन्ट सेल्स डिपार्टमेन्ट मार्केटिङ डिपार्टमेन्ट एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स डिपार्टमेन्ट पिआर पब्लिक रिलेसन्स डिपार्टमेन्ट प्रोक्युरमेन्ट डिपार्टमेन्ट एचआर डिपार्टमेन्ट हरेक डिपार्टमेन्टसँग के हुन्छ त कोअर्डिनेसन गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ होइन सो त्यो कोअर्डिनेसन गर्ने काम पनि कसको हो त म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङको कम्युनिकेट गर्नुपर्छ हरेक डिपार्टमेन्टलाई आफ्नो लाइन म्यानेजर्सलाई आफूभन्दा तलको इम्प्लोइजलाई आफूभन्दा माथिको स्टाफलाई सो त्यो कम्युनिकेसन च्यानल गर्नलाई पनि कसले हेल्प गर्छ म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले हेल्प गर्छ एन्ड प्लानिङ एन्ड फोरकास्टिङ कुनै पनि सेल्सको प्लानिङ कम्पनीको फ्युचर प्लान गर्नु पर्यो भने फ्युचरमा कसरी ड्राइभ गर्ने कम्पनीलाई 1 इयर पछि कहाँ लिएर जाने 2 इयर्समा कहाँ 5 इयर्समा कहाँ कम्पनीको नयाँ भेन्चर्सहरू के लन्च गर्ने नयाँ प्रडक्टहरू के लन्च गर्ने सर्भिस प्रोभाइड गर्ने कम्पनी छ भने के नयाँ सर्भिस प्रोभाइड गर्न सकिन्छ एक्सप्लोर गर्ने आरएनडी गर्ने प्लान गर्ने फोरकास्ट गर्ने यो सबै काम चाहिँ कसको हो त म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङको स्कोप अफ म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङको स्कोप म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले चाहिँ के कुरा कभर गर्छ अर गुड म्यानेजर हुनको लागि चाहिँ के कुराको नलेज हुनुपर्छ भन्दाखेरि फाइनेन्सियल अकाउन्टिङ कस्ट अकाउन्टिङ फाइनेन्सियल अकाउन्टिङको नलेज त हुनै पर्यो you will have to be used to about all the financial accounting हैन हाम्रो ट्रान्जेक्सन कसरी रेकर्ड हुन्छ फाइनेन्सियल नलेज के पनि छैन फाइनेन्सियल अकाउन्टिङको नलेज छैन म चाहिँ अब एउटा राम्रो म्यानेजर हुन सक्छु भन्ने चाहिँ हुँदैन एउटा राम्रो म्यानेजर हुन एउटा गुड म्यानेजमेन्ट टिम भित्रको मान्छे हुनलाई चाहिँ यु शुड ह्याभ नलेज अबाउट फाइनेन्सियल अकाउन्टिङ अल्सो कस्ट अकाउन्टिङ अबाउट बजेटिङ एन्ड फोरकास्टिङ बजेट कसरी बनाउने फोरकास्ट कसरी गर्ने टुल्स टेक्निक्सहरू कसरी युज गर्ने त्यो आउन चाहिँ जरुरी छ स्ट्याटिस्टिक्सलाई पनि कभर गर्छ अब हाम्रो कोरिलेसन एनालाइसिस गर्नु पर्ला रिग्रेसन एनालाइसिस गर्नु पर्ला बार चार्टहरू बनाउनु पर्ने हुनसक्छ होइन कति त्यो डिफ्रेन्ट सिनारियोजमा राखेर डेटाहरूलाई प्रेजेन्ट गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ त्यसको लागि स्ट्याटिस्टिक्स इज भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट सो म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङको स्कोपमा चाहिँ स्ट्याटिस्टिक्स पनि आउँछ टु बी अ गुड म्यानेजर टु बी अ गुड have a good knowledge of management accounting we should have knowledge about statistics पनि financial accounting knowledge हुनु पर्यो cost accounting को budgeting and forecasting को and also knowledge about statistics and also taxation को knowledge taxation को पनि knowledge हुनु पर्यो legal provision को knowledge हुनु पर्यो law ले हाम्रो corporate laws ले के भन्छ international law ले के भन्छ and then auditing को पनि knowledge हुनु पर्यो हैन अब यो कुरा इथिकल छ कि छैन यो ट्रान्जेक्सन्सहरू हामी जति गरिरहेको छ फ्युचरमा जाने भनेको भेन्चर्सहरू छ वेदर इट्स इथिकल अर नट वेदर इट्स इनसाइड द पर्भ्यू अफ द लिगल प्रोभिजन्स अर नट यो भन्ने कुरा यो सबै कुराको चाहिँ नलेज हुनु चाहिँ जरुरी छ म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ त्यही भएर इट्स भेरी इन्फर्मल बट इट्स अ भेरी कम्प्रिहेन्सिभ सब्जेक्ट होइन यो म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ ले चाहिँ के कुराले टच गर्छ के कुराको नलेज हुन जरुरी छ भन्दाखेरि फाइनेन्सियल अकाउन्टिङको अफकोर्स we should have good knowledge about financial accounting we should have understand how costs are being calculated है प्रडक्टको सर्भिसको प्रडक्ट्स कस्ट कसरी क्यालकुलेट हुन्छ कस्ट अकाउन्टिङ बजेटिङ फोरकास्टिङ कसरी गर्ने एन्ड देन स्ट्याटिस्टिक्स ट्याक्सेसन legal provisions auditing सबैको knowledge भयो भने मात्र you can have knowledge of management accounting and be a good manager by taking right decision at right time अब advantages or importance of management accounting है हाम्रो management accounting ले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ हाम्रो के advantages हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि it's an proper planning and organizing proper plan गर्नलाई हेल्प गर्छ properly organize गर्नलाई हेल्प गर्छ increase in efficiency of production increase in efficiency of employees increase in benefits of both company and employees good labor relation employeesहरुसँग पनि राम्रो रिलेसन हुन्छ किनभने एम्प्लोइजहरुलाई मोटिभेटेड राख्ने काम उनीहरुलाई को स्किल्सहरुलाई इन्हान्स गर्ने काम उनीहरुलाई पे गर्ने कुरादेखि लिएर धेरै कुरा चाहिँ एउटा गर्नको लागि चाहिँ केले हेल्प गर्छ म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले हेल्प गर्छ सो इट हेल्प्स टु ह्याभ अ भेरी गुड लेबर रिलेसन इजी फर म्यानेजरियल डिसिसन म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले यति धेरै डेटा अनि इन्फर्मेसनलाई प्रेजेन्ट गरेर दिन्छ कि द्याट हेल्प्स द्याट मेक्स म्यानेजरियल डिसिजन मेकिङ भेरी इजी अब हाम्रो फाइनेन्सियल अकाउन्टिङ कस्ट अकाउन्टिङको बेसमा मात्र डिसिजन गर्नु पर्यो भने एकदम गाह्रो हुन्छ म्यानेजरलाई होइन देयर आर न्युमरस रिस्क एलिमेन्ट एसोसिएटेड विथ इट होइन फ्युचरमा के हुन्छ कस्तो हुन्छ भनेर एनालाइसिस गर्नको लागि फाइनेन्सियल अकाउन्टिङ मात्रले पुग्दैन वी हेभ टु सी द लिगल म्याटर्स वी हेभ टु सी द ट्याक्सेसन म्याटर्स फ्युचरको होइन वी हेभ टु सी द अदर अडिट म्याटर्स एन्ड अल सो त्यो सबै इन्फर्मेसन्सहरू प्रोभाइड गरेर चाहिँ के गर्छ त इट हेल्प्स टु मेक म्यानेजरियल डिसिजन इजी होइन म्यानेजरियल डिसिजनलाई चाहिँ सजिलो बनाउनलाई यति डेटाहरू इन्फर्मेसन्सहरू प्रेजेन्ट गरेर दिएपछि के भयो त म्यानेजरहरूलाई पनि डिसिजन मेकिङ गर्न सजिलो भयो क्वालिटेटिभ प्रडक्ट अनि प्रडक्टको क्वालिटी पनि इन्हान्स हुन जान्छ बिकज इम्प्लोइज अर द वर्कर्स आर हाइली मोटिभेटेड अनि कहाँनिर ल्यागिङ छ के कुरामा चाहिँ हामी डेभिड गरिरहेको हुन्छौँ त्यो कुरा कन्ट्रोल हुन्छ सो देयर इज क्वालिटेटिभ प्रडक्ट चाहिँ निस्किन्छ त्यो भएर एन्ड देन इफेक्टिभ कन्ट्रोल अफ ओभर द प्राइस ओभर द एक्सपेन्डिचर चाहिँ हाम्रो एकदम राम्रो कन्ट्रोल हुन जान्छ सो दिज आर द एडभान्टेजेस अफ म्यानेजमेन्ट एकाउन्टिङ प्रपर प्लानिङ एन्ड अर्गनाइजिङ increase in efficiency, increase in benefits, good labor relation, easy for managerial decision, qualitative product, effective control है सो आज चाहिँ हामीले के गर्यौँ भन्दाखेरि we learned about what management accounting is है हामीले as a course content के हुन्छ भनेर हेर्यौँ and then we did the introduction part गर्नुभन्दा अकाउन्टिङ भन्ने के हो फाइनेन्सियल अकाउन्टिङ के हो कस्ट अकाउन्टिङ के हो एन्ड म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ भन्ने चाहिँ के हो भनेर भेटेरिट है म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ भन्ने चाहिँ भेरी न्युली developed content. This is very different from the other kinds of accounting like financial accounting and cost accounting अनि management accounting भनेको आफैमा नयाँ एकदमै रदेखि फन्डामेन्टल चाहिँ चेन्ज हुने खालको अकाउन्टिङ होइन अलरेडी भएको इन्फर्मेसनलाई चाहिँ फ्युचरको लागि चाहिँ हामीले एनालाइसिस गर्ने इन्टरप्रेट गर्ने डेटाहरूलाई प्रोजेक्ट गर्ने त्यो काम चाहिँ म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङले गर्छ है म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ इज अलवेज फ्युचर ओरिएन्टेड म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङको अब्जेक्टिभ भने फर्मुलेसन अफ पोलिसी organizing by allocating right responsibility to right people at right time डेटाहरूलाई मोडिफाई गर्ने एन्ड प्रेजेन्ट गर्ने कस्टहरू कन्ट्रोल गर्नलाई हेल्प गर्ने डिसिजन गर्नलाई हेल्प गर्ने एनालाइसिस एन्ड इन्टरप्रिटेसन अफ डेटा क्यारेक्टरिस्टिक्स अफ म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङ भनेको चाहिँ के भन्दा पनि फ्युचर ओरिएन्टेड हुन्छ एन्ड देयर इज नो युनिफर्म मेथड अफ doing management accounting provides data but the decision has to be ultimately taken by the managers analysis and controlling and functions of management accounting is organizing controlling coordinating communicating planning and forecasting and scope of management accounting के हुन्छ there are numerous scope होइन management accounting ले चाहिँ के कुरालाई टच गर्छ financial accounting cost accounting budgets and forecasting statistics taxation legal provisions auditing सबैले टच गर्छ नि एडभान्टेजेसहरू we learned it है सो आजको लागि धेरै चाहिँ नगरौँ this is our first class so next क्लासमा पनि अझ हामी म्यानेजमेन्ट अकाउन्टिङको बारेमा पढ्छौँ and we'll go into the practical paths cost product costing कसरी गर्ने भन्ने चाहिँ we will start with so यो पढ्दै गर्दा के क्वेसन्सहरू छ क्वेरिजहरू छ भने चाहिँ सोध्दा हुन्छ है and if anyone has any question yeah please feel free to ask नत्र भने I'll assume that you all have understood well and please एउटा note or एउटा copy चाहिँ maintain गरिराख है from next class onwards we'll be having calculations also mathematical calculations so it's better you have copy and try to do those questions on classroom itself question छ कसैलाई I assume that you all have understood well so thank you everyone I
Yes,
really
thank you.
yes thank you I'll stop recording